Hello, friends. You're now listening to the lifestyle, leisure, and sports show you never knew was two of those things.
I think we can all acknowledge that if this fails, you two will be fired and I will remain. So, no pressure.
Bo Bishop, a regional media icon, winner of Emmys, purveyor of the good life.
Sir, you don't know that for a fact.
I just said it on the radio.
Also, two guys this company named Employee of the Month.
What are you talking about?
Paul Hogan is Hulk Hogan's brother. Look it up.
Because it's Hulk Hogan. That's his real name.
One guy is from Australia. The other one is from Tampa.
You mean he's from Hollywood, brother?
Not brothers. Chops.
Yes, they are.
This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Jake Trotter, newly christened college football expert Jake Trotter. We've had Jake on for years on the Brown side of things. He's a good dude, good friend, and is transitioning from covering the Browns to being a national college football writer, and happy to announce he's going to be on with us pretty regularly, and including today coming up at 10:30. So we have that to look forward to, which is nice. Amanda Christovich, she's all over it, man. The house is made of cards, and it's all falling, and nobody has any idea of how to put the damn thing back together again or what it's going to look like, but the future is now for college athletics. She's all over it. Now we have private equity. I mean, the amount of things that are crossing paths right now, intersecting. I covered Drew Weatherford at Florida State when he was the quarterback down there, and now he's part of one of these private equity firms along with Redbird Capital that is going to try to throw a bunch of money at college athletics. Now, they claim that right now the one big difference is they don't necessarily want a piece of current revenue. They want to help create new revenue. So we'll try to get some answers on that. There's a lot of them, obviously. But this is a bit of a, and by the way, it's a Hey Guys First Friday. Get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas at 971-BFS when we'll do that coming up at 11 o'clock. This is a bit of a melancholy morning, though, for the sports fans in the world. And it's not lost to me that yesterday, I think it was last night, they handed out the Sports Emmy Awards, and Inside the NBA won for studio show. That one and Game Day both won. I think Inside went for like limited run studio show, and so they won the National Sports Emmy for that. And now we get the reporting here in the last 5 minutes. Sports Business Journal reports today that the NBA will formalize a new deal with ESPN, NBC, and Amazon this week. Sports Business Journal also saying that NBC will air Basketball Night in America on Sunday nights after the NFL season. So this is a big bet on the NBA. And by the way, it's going to be better than what they're running currently. This will there will be success with this.
What's on
it won't be
NBC
NFL success,
Sunday nights?
but it won't be NFL success, but it will be success. They'll get millions for that one. Might be 3, might be 5, might be 4, but they will get them, and they will have their full promotional arm. But the reason that this is melancholy and perhaps infinite sadness is this. This will be the last season. Next year will be the last year for TNT and Inside the NBA. So that will go away. They'll do one more year of it, and then that's it. It's gone the way of the dodo bird. It's probably the most influential studio show that's ever been done. Watch the hyperbole. I'm trying to think of the other ones that would be in consideration. There was an Inside the NFL show on CBS back in the 80s with Jimmy the Greek that was really, really popular and kind of led to really all of the talk around sports gambling and lines and stuff that is now very, very common, but at that time was a little bit taboo. That one would be on the list. College Game Day would be on the list. But whatever the list is, Inside the NBA is on it. And TNT has had the NBA for upwards of 40 years and has been really one of the homes of the league going forward. And the league said, yeah, we're done. We're out. And they thought that there was an opportunity for them to match whatever NBC put together, and the NBA felt otherwise, and now it looks like it's going to become official. So those guys will find Chuck will be the most coveted. He'll be able to name his price. My hunch would be with this Basketball Night in America thing, it feels to me like that would be natural to just pull those guys right onto that and just bring them right over. I mean, on network, you would have to be a lot tighter than they are with the show. Like, you'd have to actually hit breaks. You'd actually have to be out at a certain time. You'd have to start on time. You'd have to do all of the things that you have to do when you're with a network. But to me, it would feel like pretty natural if NBC wanted to just make them part of that. I don't know why you would try to recreate a studio show when you have one that exists. The question is, could you pay Ernie Johnson? And I think if you just said, or would he be willing to do it? He's the one who has the big ties to Turner. he would be the one where you just have to say, be like Dan Patrick, when Dan Patrick used to host Football Night in America. Like, you just come on Sunday and you do it, and then that's it. It's a one-off. But certainly the end of an era is coming in the way that people consume the NBA, and certainly the way that show, in its current incarnation, will go away after next season.
Yeah, and I understand that Ernie Johnson has a lot of loyalty for TNT, but if you're a sports studio show host, what are you hosting now? Like, if the Inside the NBA goes away, I mean, there's, they have the association with the NCAA basketball tournament, but they're not playing NCAA basketball games on TNT throughout the year. Turner and the Atlanta Braves always had a relationship, but I don't even know how much they're still on TBS, if that even exists anymore. I don't know, what other sport entities do they have?
Do they still have some baseball?
That would be my only guess.
Postseason baseball? Do they still have some postseason baseball?
I guess they have NHL, but that's already situated.
Yeah, they got that. He's not involved with that.
I think there should be some way to subcontract him over there. What I hope,
Kirby.
Yes,
Kirby
exactly.
does for Amazon.
What I hope for NBC's sake is, have they learned from the critical remarks about their Football Night in America to know that there doesn't need to be 18 people on the show? Because that's a huge problem with NBC. Their team is too big for football, and they have to go, when they do the picks, it changes. They have one run do the picks, and then they have to put up a new chyron so more people can do the picks. So do not do that with the NBA. This show works really well. It's a really good testament to it that 4 is a good number for a television studio show. And so I hope they stick around that number. And if they can just transfer these guys over from Turner, that would be the ideal thing. But they also have to worry about getting Round Ball Rock back from Fox.
Yeah, MLB and Turner are together through 2028. So you got postseason and a smattering of regular season games still, but that seems to be right now their sports portfolio.
Okay, so they do have baseball through 2028. Yeah, so that'd be a very simple thing for Ernie to subcontract out and go do an NBC thing. I mean, he's already on CBS on the college basketball side of things. He does that, so I'd see no scenario where he couldn't paratroop in on the NBA on Sunday nights and do that. I guess the question would be, would you want to? I mean, that's the other part of it. But it's a major sea change in that sport, and so one more year of it. They were hopeful that they would be able to match, or the other part of this, and this is more the business side of it, is how much of this was tied up in the Warner Brothers, Disney, who's the third? Hulu?
Fox.
Fox. Warner
Hulu
Brothers
is
Fox
involved, but
on another, So that thing that they launched last week between Warner and ESPN and Fox, what do you need Warner anymore? Do you need that?
I don't know.
What would they be providing?
If they're going to combine and have it on their own thing, and sure, they want to put their logo on there, and there's going to be a sharing of the revenue, but I don't care about that back end. Do we even need to call the networks anything? Or is it just that they are the ones in charge of production, and so they get the advertising revenue if it's all on one streaming app? Like, I don't care if I'm on the same app, whether or not this is technically a Fox broadcast or this is technically a Disney, ESPN broadcast. So I hope that they just come up with their new brand, and all of those guys can just share on the profit. That's actually what Hulu was originally, and that's why Hulu worked really well originally, because all the shows could go on there, and it was partly owned by Fox, it was partly owned by Disney, the Comcast was involved, so that's NBC Universal at that time. Like, that's why Hulu worked. So I would hope that they could figure out a deal like that for this and just kind of brand it as one thing. And sure, if you really look at it, you can tell which network is producing it. But I don't care, and I don't need to care. And so as many people as you can get involved with that, as long as the shows are good and the coverage is good, the more the merrier.
It was all predicated on sports, though, and it's, Fox is the only one that doesn't have a streamer.
Yeah,
for sports. Everybody else does, and with Warner not having, what would they have left? They'd have the NCAA basketball tournament. Turner would have that, and then a little bit of baseball. That's it.
They have NHL too.
Oh yeah, they have the NHL.
So they've got that
NHL postseason as well. Yeah. No, I think the Charles Barkley guys is going to be able to name his price. He's going to be. It'll be $20 million a year on this thing, Reese.
I was just about to say, if Romo's doing what, 17, 18 mil? I mean, that's, you take add $2 million, and then that's where you start. That's where the conversation begins.
Because he's going to have a true look. Anytime you're thrust into a period of free agency, what you want is an incredible demand, and he's going to have it because ESPN would throw anything at him. ESPN, Disney would throw anything at him. I mean, they could use him cross-platform. There's all sorts of things they could do with him. The same thing would be true of Amazon. I mean, you would talk about a never-ending bucket of cash. They would have that to be able to throw at him, and then you'd have NBC. And then it would just be a matter of choosing making the decision that makes the most sense for, obviously financially first and foremost, but I'm guessing he will have a big say in what that looks like going forward in terms of the show that he's going to be on. So I would imagine that they would, man, if you're NBC, I just think you just call it right now and you just move it over. I mean, they did that. There's precedent for this. Fox did it when they got the NFC package from CBS, and CBS lost the NFL in the late 90s. They just went and got Summerall and Madden. Like, you guys probably don't even remember, Summerall and Madden were a CBS institution, and they went to Fox because CBS at the time lost. There was a lull where CBS lost the NFL, and it went to Fox. It was Fox and NBC for a little while, and then when the AFC package came up, CBS beat out NBC and got it back. But by that time, Summerall and Madden were already at Fox. And so there's a lot of precedent. Al Michaels did the same thing. Like, he called Monday Night Football for years, and then when it became Football Night in America, he went to NBC. I mean, he was an ABC guy for 30 years, and then went to NBC.
I wonder if they'll just
pretty easy to do.
Bring it all over. Bring over was Reggie Miller,
Kevin Harlan, and all of it.
Just bring everybody over and just say, well, this already works. It's already situated. You guys have chemistry. You know how to work together. Boom, easy transition over to NBC.
I would imagine that they would want Tirico on something.
Yeah. He's their main
on
studio
something.
guy now.
He's already on everything.
Right, but you know them. You know how that goes.
They're just going to clone him. I feel like NBC or one of these other companies is going to figure it out first, how to successfully clone a person, and they're going to clone one of their sportscasters. They're going to see if that works, if people can tell if he's the clone or not, and then it'll actually start with other humans.
Isn't Scarlett Johansson fighting that right now?
They allegedly,
she going to war over that?
ChatGPT or OpenAI, one of the two, took her voice.
Yeah, and she's going to war over that right now. So be careful. I think the most absurd thing Tirico ever did, didn't he? He would host the Olympics and then still come back to do Football Night in America. Wasn't that the deal?
Yeah, and that was
fly across the planet.
So that's happening this year too.
Was that the Russian Olympic? Which one was that? Which one was most recent?
It might have been a COVID Winter Olympic type thing.
I remember the Winter. What was the Winter Olympics where in the background of the big ski slope there was like an industrial park?
That was China.
That was China? Okay, China. I think it was that one.
Yeah. So he was flying back and forth between football. Well, it was the Super Bowl. That's what it was.
Yes.
It was the Super Bowl and the Olympics. He flew back and forth for both of those things. Boy, lots to get to. Justin Fields weighing in on finding a home in Pittsburgh. A fun fourth quarter in the NBA last night as well. Speaking of the association, as I mentioned, Jake Trotter will join us, Amanda Christovich as well. We are off and running on a First Friday Miracle Edition. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you. The meatloaf! The Fan.
Instant classics are exciting, but true legends have impact over time. Like how Plant Moran has been counted on by companies and clients for the past 100 years. Counted on for advice by the workwear brand you zip up every day. Counted on for guidance by the zoos and aquariums inspiring the next generation. Counted on for a holistic approach by those growing, protecting, and sharing their wealth. From accounting to tax, consulting to wealth management, we are built year after year on the stories and success we help others achieve. Here's to the next 100 years of Plant Moran. Count on us.
At Take 5, we're faster than you think. That means we'll change your oil and have you back on the road faster than it takes for your fancy designer half-calf, heavy cream, no whip, mocha latte to get cold. Just sit back and relax while our fast, friendly team does all the work. Take 5, the stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change.
Want a great choice with great value? It's great to drive Honda and save thousands with low 1.9% financing. All your favorite Honda models are in stock. Save big on a great selection of cars, SUVs, and trucks, like the new 2024 Honda Ridgeline, now with low 1.9% financing. There's never been a better time to buy a new Honda. Search your local Honda dealer today. See dealer for financing details for well-qualified buyers. Offer ends 7/8/24.
The Sign and Drive Green Tag event continues, offering 0% for 84 months with no money down on a John Deere compact utility tractor with loader. Limited time offer. Visit your local Ag Pro today. Offer ends May 31st, 2024. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Billiards Plus has everything for the master griller in your house. Come to their showroom, open the lid, and feel the difference in their grills. Professional, top-quality equipment at great prices with a huge selection ready to go home with you. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Hey folks, Austin Ward here, and if that sizzling sound made your mouth water, you are in the right place. Let's talk about something sizzling. That's making a Bacon 180 with a Waken 180. Imagine dropping pounds while still enjoying that crispy, savory goodness. It's one of the 50 reasons I chose a Waken 180. 50 pounds in only 3 months, and I did it while still enjoying a ton of my favorite foods. The difference? I had my coach showing me how to enjoy them the right way. A full Bacon 180. But hey, maybe you're not a bacon fan. I personally can't relate, but no bacon? No problem. Awaken 180 caters to any diet or taste profile. Vegetarian, vegan, omnivore, even flexitarian. Yes, that's a thing, and you're covered too. The point, if you want to lose weight, lose it fast, and then keep it off, then make your own Bacon 180 with Awaken 180 online at awaken180weightloss.com.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at changethegameohio.org. That's changethegameohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We are tracking the risk of thunderstorms as we head into this evening. Look for a mostly cloudy sky today, along with a few pop-up showers or storms. The best chance of strong storms will come tonight. Biggest threats will be large hail and damaging winds. Temperatures today will be in the middle 80s. Tonight, we drop down to the middle 60s. I'm Doppler 10 meteorologist Dylan Robichaud on 97.1 The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop & Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop & Friends.
Well, the playoff action is here. Isn't a more rewarding sportsbook in the game than Tipico? Get ready to bet on the biggest games of the year with the playoff hoops, the hockey. It's every single night. You want to make the most of every game. You've got to bet with Tipico. You'll get that 5% cash back on your bets. Enjoy the highest cash back in the industry, the most rewarding sportsbook. You simply claim your new sign-up bonus now. Get $150 in protected bets when you deposit $100. Sign up now. Enter the promo code THEFAN150 to get your bonus. Download the Tipico Sportsbook app today. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER for more. This is my routine now. We get home from the youth practice, and then at that point, I go and seek out a sport. And it's worked out very well. So, for example, last night we had Bootsy had the big cootie bowl where the boys and girls switch sticks and they play the ones and twos play lacrosse against one another with the girls' rules, no checking, which was a tough thing to enforce for the boys. They were they could not wait to check them, and so there were so many times like ready to, and it was. They managed it well, and we got through it.
Are they still of the age where some of the girls are like actually taller and like bigger than the boys?
God. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're first, second grade. So there's several girls that are significantly bigger than like Bootsy and a lot of his little buddies. Like, there aren't many that can post them up. But the girls' game, and I don't know why this is with lacrosse, the girls' game is entirely different. Like there's almost no physicality in the girls' game. There's no checking. So there's checking like in the hockey sense. For people who aren't familiar with the sport, there's checking in the hockey sense. Like that comes as you get older in the sport. But then there's also like stick checking where you basically use your lacrosse stick as a weapon to try to dislodge the ball. Like you saw this when you called the machine games. Like, so there's that where you just whack, right? You just whack people and try to get the ball loose. So the girls' game has none of that. And their sticks, the pocket on the stick is much, much shallower.
It's almost like a trampoline. It's really weird. Yeah.
The boys can like cradle. They call it cradling. Like you can run with the ball and it doesn't come out of the stick because as you're moving your wrist as you're cradling. Well, on the girls' side, you can't do that because the pocket is too shallow.
Are the girls wearing helmets at that age? Because don't they just wear like the eye protection at like high school and college level?
In our program, they do. The girls, all of the girls have but it's not a helmet like the boys. Like the boys' helmet is like you're going to war.
Yeah.
Helmet.
Looks like a goalie's mask, all of them. Yeah.
Yes. Completely covered. Yes. Completely. Yeah. And whereas like the girls' helmet is just basically like goggles, like protective eye, but there's nothing around the rest of the face. It's like protective eye and then over the head.
Similar to like the infield stuff that like softball players wear, but then a little bit more on the top of the head.
Yeah, but it's really minimal. And so anyway, what inevitably happens is that the boys go to shoot and the ball flies out of the back of the stick with the girl's stick because they're used to being able to have the security of the depth of the pocket. But anyway, so it was fun. It was a good night. So we get home and be honest with you, I almost forgot that this was happening because it feels like a foregone conclusion that Boston is going to win this and they're going to move on. And if they didn't, what an abject failure it would be. And so it was 82. They were up like 13 in the third quarter into the fourth. And then we went away and watched something else. I was talking to the kids about something, trying to get the littles to bed. And I came back in and Indy was up. And they're up 5 in the last couple of minutes. And they're up 3 in the last 20 seconds. And you say, wow, Indy's going to steal. I don't know if it would have meant anything long term. But if the series was going to be one interesting, they had to win the first game. And they were on the precipice of it. And Jaylen Brown hit a shot where, quite honestly, he was looking to get fouled on the shot. And nobody fouled him. And then he just said, what the hell, I'll make it. That forces overtime. And then in overtime, Boston kind of cruised from there. But it was a thrilling last couple of minutes last night for sure.
Yeah, it was a really exciting game, and there is mistakes down the line, but then there was also the clutch shot from Jaylen Brown, and then we get into overtime, and Jason Tatum, who had been kind of up and down, especially in the fourth quarter, really just took it to them. He had 10 of their 11 points, or 10 of their 16, and the Pacers only had 11 in overtime. But that Jaylen Brown, the shot he hit to send it to overtime, that one is where I was like, man, I feel like strategies are getting in the way of playing basketball sometimes because everybody was talking like, oh, like LeBron even like went out and was like, why didn't Siakam foul him? You're up 3 with the seconds left. And he's only going to. I get it. I understand the strategy. Why didn't Siakam have his hands up and play defense? Why are we not playing basketball anymore and we're doing it all strategically? Like he got lost in the sauce of the strategy.
Yeah. And
instead of just you're inches taller than him. I don't know exactly how much taller, but I know he's taller. Put a hand up, that's going to make the shot that much harder. So that kind of pissed me off. And then also in the game too, I want to see how this works out the rest of the time for Indiana because they did the opposite of what we've seen a lot in this playoffs, and we've talked about it a lot, and something that Boston basically experienced in the first 2 series. They got up 13 in the third quarter, and I think Boston was used to kind of feeling teams in these early games of a 7-game series pack it in and say, okay, there's more games to play. Indiana didn't do that. They came right. Shooting. Yeah, they came right back. They cut it. They took a lead actually and looked like they were in the driver's seat to win this. But then they didn't. Now the question is, what the inverse? Was it actually worth it to expel all the effort to go to overtime and push the Celtics in game 1 but lose, or should you have just packed it in? And I'm really interested to see if we get any inkling of legs coming out from under Indiana as the series goes on.
Pascal Siakam 6'8", Jaylen Brown 6'6". So 2 inches there. Yeah. And it goes to show, we said this yesterday, if the Pacers can't shoot 67%, they ain't winning a damn game, but it also hurts. Like they had 2 of their 21 turnovers in the last 30 seconds there.
Oh, they were brutal.
It was rough.
Those were brutal turnovers.
If you're a Pacers fan, to kind of see how the third quarter was going into the fourth quarter, what the hell happened is what I think the biggest thing for the Pacers and their fans this morning.
What I think also that final play was not very good. You get to advance the ball. It's only 5 seconds, but it's basically Halliburton
time.
Tried to go around, couldn't get around, and just had to chuck something up.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. It felt a lot like the stakes weren't the same, but it felt a lot like game one. What was that? The 2017 finals when LeBron put them on their back, and then J.R. Smith,
the famous LeBron, throwing his hands.
What are you doing? Like, if you win that game, then that changes the trajectory, and it took like a perfect operation to be able to do it, and then they didn't get it done. So there could be a lot of lingering damage from this, not just the fact that they tried and battled and really could have won it, but mentally, how do you come back from blowing it the way that they did? That'll be a tricky one for them, to say the least. Tonight, game one out west, it is Minnesota hosting Dallas in that one. That is an 8:30 TNT, I believe.
Yes.
That'll be interesting to see how the guys handle that. I mean, Chuck has not been shy about discussing it, about the fact that he's going to be a free agent. He's going to get on LinkedIn and all of this stuff. Like, he's kind of made it a joke. I'm guessing it's not a joke to the people of Turner, and maybe he thought, and maybe they thought they'd somehow be able to still salvage it. But they'll address it tonight. I mean, they're not shy of anything. So they're going to get into it tonight. The fact that they've got this one and then one more next year, and that's it for the Turner guys on the NBA. Boy, NBA wins pretty big on this. Luka, and then you get Ant. So be a fun one tonight out in Minnesota with game one at 8:30 on that. All right, coming up next, Justin Fields got his preferred destination. You'll hear from him as a Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback coming up next. Also, Deshaun Watson throwing in Berea. The media is going to see it. Oh, my goodness gracious. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, the Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
The delicious ice-cold taste of Dr. Pepper has a lasting effect on people. Lindsay from Sacramento said,
Pro tip, 40 degrees is the perfect temperature for an ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Why is 40 degrees the perfect temperature for Dr. Pepper? We brought in Sue from Duluth, Minnesota to tell us.
Oh, yeah, I know a thing or two about cold. Oh, that right there is the perfect kind of ice-cold for Dr. Pepper. I'd share that with my friend Nancy. She likes Dr. Pepper, too, My coldest...
All right, that'll be all, Sue. Having a perfect temperature for your Dr. Pepper? It's a Pepper thing. Inspired by real fan posts.
Bobcat Enterprises is your local family-owned partner for spring landscaping and construction projects. Being a local business since 1975 means giving our community great deals on our full line of Bobcat equipment, including Bobcat compact track loaders, excavators, tractors, mowers, and more. Right now, get financing as low as 0% for 48 months on select equipment. Build local. Stop by Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, or Zanesville to find current specials or see our full line of products at bobcatent.com today.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte, each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per $1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick.
Saturday, Beamer's in for me. He'll chat with PGA professional Ryan Cole from Columbus Country Club and update you on this week's Colonial.
Cheetah Green with Skip Mosick, presented by X-Golf. Saturday mornings at 9 on The Fan.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a room of rejected mascot memorabilia. Is it real? No one knows. But we do know NJM is proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM.
Your roof took a beating from winter storms, spring rain, and sun damage. Call Legacy Roofing Services before that crack or seam becomes a major leak, costing thousands of dollars. Call Legacy today, 800-880-ROOF, 800-880-ROOF. Legacy Roofing Services.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you? All right, here's what's up on a First Friday. Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. OTAs are happening. He is, if you were to bet anything, if I were to go back and take a look at him as a prospect coming out of here after the 2020 season, to me, he felt like as sure a thing as possible, but also that he went to the worst possible place to go. The dysfunction in Chicago was immediate. There was no question that it was very obvious that Matt Nagy either did not want Justin Fields or did not want to play him when he did. It was coaching malfeasance when he sent him out up in Cleveland against Myles Garrett in that defense, and they ate him for lunch. That is exactly what happened. And I know this from someone who was coaching on that Bears team, who this story got relayed through the Browns side of things, that Fields was not ready to play. He was simply not ready to play that game. It was as easy as that. He was not. And they threw him out there anyway. So he's gone. He went through separate coaches. And then because the Bears pulled off one of the great heists in the history of the league, the Bears are in a position to play Fields over the last couple of years, see what he was, but then at the same time also be able to be in position to draft Caleb Williams, who many people think could be a generational player. But the bigger part of that is you also get the other factor of that. The bigger part is that he's Caleb Williams. The other factor in that is you get to reset your quarterback clock. So they didn't have to make a decision on paying Fields or not. And so as soon as that happened and they had the number one pick, you knew Fields would be dealt. It was very obvious, and it was the right business thing to do. When you talk to people around the league about Fields, he is something that coaches to this point in his career, coaches hate, in that he will not take the layups. There are plays that are designed open, and he will not take them, whether he doesn't process quick enough to get there or he doesn't trust. Trust certainly could be a problem based on everything he experienced in Chicago. And yet he's good enough that he can make the stuff off script electric. And so it's a tough one for fans and honestly even people with fantasy, because you see what he does from a statistical output and you go, make this work. But coaches say, I don't like the fact that he doesn't take the layups. And that's why he was available for what he was available for. The Bears, for all of their malfeasance in their handling of him, actually did him a solid and allowed for him to pick his destination. Now, did he pick Pittsburgh knowing that they would also have Russell Wilson? Because I got news for you. While that organization is very stable, you got two guys who want to be the starters and expect to be the starters. And Fields was available yesterday in Pittsburgh. And he says this part out loud. Here's Justin Fields in Pittsburgh expecting to see the field.
To be honest, I'm taking it day by day. I'm definitely, competing. Russ knows that. We're competing against each other every day. Him being out there for me, that, helps me getting better, us pushing each other. So, I definitely don't have the mindset of, me just, sitting all year. I'm coming in every day, giving it all I got, and, pushing him to be his best, and he's pushing me to be my best each and every day.
The Pittsburgh roster, now they've got some new pieces up front. But the Pittsburgh roster defensively, at every level, they've got a super-duper star at every single level. They've got incredible weapons at receiver. Defensively, you know what they're going to be. All they do is win, and yet they're in what is going to amount to a quarterback experiment. They got two guys off the scrap heap, one much younger than the other, for nothing, and how do they navigate who plays and who doesn't? You have got to, if you're them, you have got to get a look at Justin Fields playing meaningful games to see if this is somebody who could be your future quarterback. His youth, I think, will be in his favor in this because of the opportunity that maybe you have a 10-year answer at the position, whereas Russ is a short-term solution at best. To me, it would be, unless Justin is just incompetent, it's hard for me to imagine he doesn't get a real fair shake in this thing and doesn't get a real look next year in the regular season. This is not the ideal situation, but for Fields, guys, there weren't any. His own coordinator is with the Raiders and chose not to get him for nothing and chose Gardner Minshew instead, his former coordinator in Chicago. So there's some rehabilitation that needs to be done for Fields. He's betting on it being Pittsburgh. I just don't know if it's quite as clean a situation as he had hoped.
Obviously, there's still room to improve, and like you laid out, the Steelers is such a good organization for really any young player, but quarterback can work into that too. They have not done a good job of developing their quarterbacks post Ben Roethlisberger, but now they've got guys who, in my opinion, I mean, especially Russell Wilson with what he's done in his career, are a higher level pedigree than what we have seen in the quarterback room for the Steelers the last few years. But what annoys me about Justin Fields and everything that's like his time in the NFL is he goes to the Bears and they do nothing to help him that first year, both in personnel and just like basic play calling stuff. We all talk about that Browns game where they just sent him out to be slaughtered the entire time. Then the next year gets a little bit better, that it's a little more geared towards Justin Fields, but he still doesn't have the weapons. And into the third year, a few more weapons, but never like what they went out and made sure that they acquired for Caleb Williams. So I do want to see him with like a full confident team behind him and says like, this is for you. And we're still not quite getting that with Russell Wilson. But I do believe that one thing you mentioned is youth that will be in his favor. Of course that will be. But I think the other thing will be, we've seen that people weren't too fond of Russell Wilson after he left Seattle. Basically everybody on the Legion of Boom type teams has had bad things to say about him. He did a lot of weird things while he was in Denver. Justin Fields is going to win the locker room, not a doubt in my mind. And that goes a long way for a quarterback.
It's interesting when you talk about like what the Bears did or didn't do with Fields. Like a lot of players around the league saw this, including one, C.J. Stroud.
Bears won this draft. I feel they did a great job just this whole offseason. They're giving Caleb Williams the shot to figure it out with structure and stability, which I love for him. But like, man, like, why couldn't they do this for Justin? Because he's my guy. Like that to me, that makes no sense. Like they couldn't do this years prior. Like they try to make Justin work. 3 coordinators work with 2 head coaches. That makes no sense.
So like other players are seeing this and being like, all right, like great for the Bears now, great for Caleb Williams now. What happened with Justin Fields? And I do think there is, he's obviously Stroud's guy because they were, together at Ohio State. But I think for Chops' point, it's like, this is kind of the magnetic personality that he is in a locker room that they've got now confidence that I don't know if Pittsburgh can truthfully say they've had in seasons post Ben Roethlisberger 2 legit guys that can compete for the starting job.
Oh, my God. They're so much better than they were with Pickett right away. Right away. I mean, like, they had a winning season last year with Pickett. He's incompetent. Like, they're better than that. I mean, yes, for sure. That's when you think of the depth of this division. My God. Good luck coming out of it alive. The only thing I will say from the Bears' perspective, and this was the team I rooted for as a kid and very critical of most of the things they've done in my lifetime, although I don't care as much for them as I used to. A lot of what they've done from an asset accumulation standpoint happened because of the trade for Bryce Young. Like they got DJ Moore in the Bryce Young deal. So that, Justin only had the 1 year with DJ Moore. Keenan Allen became a free agent this summer. They were able to get Rome Odunze because they had their pick and the Caleb Williams pick. So like some of it they couldn't control. The one thing that they could have controlled was just the coaching around him and the way that he was handled from that perspective. From a roster standpoint, it's the chicken before the egg. Do you want the quarterback before you have the situation, or do you want the quarterback and then you build the situation around him? So Carolina is attempting to do we have the quarterback, or they believe that they do. Now we have to build everything up around him.
Atlanta's doing the inverse, yeah.
The opposite is Atlanta. Another opposite, honestly, Buffalo was kind of that way with Josh Allen, where they kind of had some of the pieces already, and then you put him into it. Caleb Williams is walking into the situation. It's probably as advantageous a situation as a number 1 overall pick in the draft has walked into, probably since Andrew Luck. Because remember, Andrew Luck walked into those Colts teams that were ready to compete, but then Manning got hurt. So they were locked in. And so that's the situation. Caleb Williams is walking into ready-made. I mean, you think CJ had a good spot last year, and we didn't realize it at the time. This situation that Caleb Williams is walking into, this is an all-timer. I mean, they got 3. Think of their receiving core. If you ranked NFL receiving cores right now, and you could have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze, where does that rate? That's in the top 10 of the league.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's walking into obviously a much better situation than Fields, and the problem with that too is I think it's going to hurt Fields' perception, from people around, which doesn't really matter. As if the Steelers like him and they want to roll with him, then they're going to do that. But there is a little bit of perception is reality amongst fan bases, and then possibly confidence issues. I could totally see that stuff happening because if Caleb Williams goes in there and balls out, I think people are going to ignore the fact that he is in a much better situation and say things like, "Well, see, yeah, Justin Fields does stink." Because Caleb Williams was able to go in Chicago and figure it out. And I fear for that for him because quarterback especially, big mental game up there.
It's funny you say you could rank the receiving cores. Well, CBS Sports did that, and they have the Bears second behind the Houston Texans.
Higher or lower?
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
that's tomorrow.
There aren't many that are even in the vicinity. I mean, New York is really good. Miami's really good. Cincinnati's really good. But they're way up there.
All right, we're doing this tomorrow for higher or lower.
There you go. He's little league. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, you'll have that. Also to watch today, Deshaun Watson. The Browns have been putting out these little breadcrumbs of him throwing, but you will notice that all of the little videos that you see, it's all slow-mo, right? Like it's all a slow-mo throw here or there. Like they're going to get a chance to look at him today. Like the media is going to get a chance to look today. So we'll see what that looks like with him throwing live action or close to live action in Berea. That is happening today.
It was the slow-mo, and they weren't always really following the ball where it went. No. There were a few where in the background you could see the receiver catch it, but there were some that just went out of frame, and who knows how that pass ended.
So funny with Cleveland sports fan Twitter yesterday. There was, something big's going to happen with the Cavaliers, and everybody was on edge for that, and then nothing happened with the Cavaliers. And today is going to be something similar, like Watson's going to throw, and you're going to get grainy cell phone footage. What could it mean? It's like, I just want a day.
I did the one thing you did notice from them, like it's nice having Jameis Winston there already. Like they've got a pretty good insurance plan. If this doesn't go, they have an insurance plan that's there and ready and who's going to get a full off season there. We heard from CJ Stroud just now. You're going to hear from Dan Orlovsky on why he thinks CJ Stroud worked so well in year one. And quite honestly, it should be Ryan Day's sales pitch to every quarterback out there. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Great coaching can make all the difference, especially when it comes to your money. At Right Pack Credit Union, our financial coaches are on your team. We'll help you create a winning game plan that's customized for your unique needs, so you can make the most of your hard-earned money and live the life you want to live. Best of all, Right Pack Credit Union serves all of Central Ohio, so getting in the game is easy. Let's win together. Stop by one of our Central Ohio member centers to get started today. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA.
Safe Auto Insurance is now Direct Auto Insurance. What's the difference? Basically, the name. Direct Auto offers savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, just like you're used to. Which means you never have to make trade-offs when it comes to paying for car insurance. So don't even think about carpooling to work with Talkative Ted. It's time to stop compromising and keep driving with Direct Auto. Get a free quote at directauto.com or call 1-877-GO-DIRECT. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Hi, this is Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. As a local family-owned business, we understand the importance of celebrating the ones we love. Stop in to find the perfect gift or check us out online at worthingtonjewelers.com.
Now at UDF, buy 3 everyday favorites with UDrive Plus to quickly stack an extra 20 cents in gas savings. That includes Monster Energy and Red Bull and Gatorade and Body Armor. And that adds up. UDF, made for you. Specially marked products with an opted-in UDrive account.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube. Watch us live or on demand by searching 971 The Fan. Which fan host will awkwardly scratch their privates? Let's find out together. Find us on YouTube, The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 3 free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Are you confident letting just anyone on the roof of your home? I'm Craig Schottenstein, owner of Schottenstein Roofing. Our team is dedicated to delivering outstanding value on every roof we repair or replace. Schottenstein Roofing. Go to schottensteinroofing.com.
Billiards Plus has everything for the master griller in your house. Come to their showroom, open the lid, and feel the difference in their grills. Professional, top-quality equipment at great prices with a huge selection ready to go home with you. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Something amazing is happening when power outages strike. Teams are powering through them. That's because CDW Solutions architects are building more resilient IT and electrical infrastructures with Schneider Electric. With EcoCare remote monitoring services and 24/7 support, your organization can do more than keep the lights on. Schneider Electric and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Schneider Electric.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Guys, generally we talk about medicine, effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues. Today it's about love, because love is the best reason to get yourself treated for ED. ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push partners away when erectile dysfunction becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, even contribute to divorce. Well, there is help on the way, and it's my friends at Tri-State Men's Health. Give them a call. Tri-State Men's Health have treatments that works where the pills and herbals fail. They have treatments with success rates over 90%. Do yourself a favor. Schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health here in town today. Your initial visit, just $99. Includes medical consult with licensed medical provider, T and PSA tests, and if medically advised, a test dose. If that test dose doesn't work, then guess what? The office visit is going to be free, so it's a no-lose win-win for you. Give them a call today. Get your sex life back on track. 800-900-9654 or visit tristatemenshealth.com today. And we have some breaking news, Reese. Do you have breaking news?
Well, according to My Dog's podcast, Deshaun Watson is not throwing today. He tweets at us at 971BFS with that nugget.
Is that a DAWG dog?
Yes.
You got to believe him then.
He's a blue check mark.
Oh, yeah, that's hard to get now.
So, I mean, Bo, we can now see you on YouTube for those interested, but I don't see you with any kind of sourcing like that.
I don't believe that was the plan, boys.
And we'll see if ultimately My Dog's podcast is correct.
We'll see if My Dog is locked in. We'll see if he's locked in. I don't know. I don't believe that was the plan. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if there was an audible in the situation. That wouldn't surprise me at all, because secrecy, of course, up there is all part of the plan. But holy smokes, man! Like, that's all anybody cares about.
And what will the
That's
explanation
all anybody cares
be?
about.
Like,
Yeah,
what do they want? Do they want to say it's soreness? Do they want to say it's a planned day off? Like, what is it going to be? Like, because they can either tell the truth or they can give us some sort of BS, and I think it's going to be the latter.
To buttress My Dog's podcast's point, Mary Kay Cabot says he's not scheduled to throw Wednesday.
Okay, so then they did it on purpose to keep people out. I don't understand it. I don't understand that strategy. Like, he's been throwing. You have video of him throwing. Who cares if it's not right? It's unjustifiable.
It's May.
He had a major shoulder surgery. It continues to be May 22nd. It's fine. It's fine. But by doing this, you're going to make a bigger story out of it than it would have been. Everybody that would have been there watching him today would have been under the understanding that it might not look all the way right. He said it on his own podcast a month ago that he's working his way back. He's not back yet. It's fine. I mean, he gets it. There's no reason to act like it's more than that. And by having him not throw, then it becomes the story. Him not throwing becomes the story.
Yeah, in the previous segment, I was talking about Justin Fields, and I just worry that, like, is the chatter going to be too big this year and maybe get to him mentally? And we know that that's something, or at least we've suspected that that's something that Deshaun Watson has dealt with ever since he got to Cleveland, dating all the way back to that first preseason game down in Jacksonville. And maybe they're afraid that, if he goes out and it doesn't look good, that could affect him mentally. But I think this is just going to, like you said, going to cause a whole bigger issue for people online and chatter around it.
I'll just, devil's advocate here. People up in Cleveland may be more interested in watching Tristan McKenzie throw at 110 today,
Yeah. Well, that might be. You lived up there for a little while, Reese. You know that's not true.
What?
You know that's not true. Come on. What are we doing? It's all anyone.
Hey, 5 in a row, 6 in a row, baby.
It's all anyone's going to talk about.
Day baseball by the lake, undefeated.
Him not throwing. That's all anyone's going to talk about. So, okay. That's going to be a fun afternoon for me. As for CJ Stroud, I saw this from Dan Orlovsky. He was on the McAfee show yesterday, and this was Dan. They were asking him about young quarterbacks and what they need for success. And Dan, kind of on his own, like he wasn't prompted here, went to this in terms of the situation that CJ Stroud was in here and the one that he found himself in the NFL. Let's have a listen.
I was thinking about it this morning. CJ, in part, had that year last year, at least in my belief, because of the way that Ryan Day coaches those quarterbacks at Ohio State. Like they huddle. They have long play calls. CJ's got to make sure that there's different levels to his communication within the huddle. I think that, really was like a huge foundation for him and his success.
CJ on our show actually said that. I think he said because of Ohio State and because of Ryan Day is why he had such a jump start on everything mentally, he thought. And then he also complimented, I think, the Big Ten for the defenses that you play against. He gives the perfect answer for everything. Obviously, everybody is hoping that they have a quarterback like that.
That is your that audio, and my guess is Pantone already has it and he sent it to every quarterback they're recruiting. But that audio is the recruiting pitch from here until the end of eternity. As long as Ryan Day's here, that's the recruiting pitch to every 5-star blue chip quarterback. You come here and you are prepared to go to the National Football League, and I honestly think that the way CJ played as a rookie was an incredible elixir for the program because it had been Haskins, God rest his soul, and then Fields was put in the worst position ever, and he certainly has not lived up to what we all thought. How much of it's on him, how much of it was on the Bears situation, that's up for debate. We debated it earlier, but just in terms of, okay, now you got a dude who came in year one, and this is why Julian Sayin, Aaron Nolan, whatever comes after, this is it. And I do think with Chip here as offensive coordinator, they're going to be able to lean even more into the NFL preparedness side of it.
I also like the track that they're on right now because something CJ Stroud had that Justin Fields didn't have here was CJ Stroud got to sit there for a year and watch Justin Fields play and learn by observing and getting whatever reps he could, but also just taking in all that coaching. And right now the quarterback room this year, it depends on who is the starter for how that goes. But after this year, it looks like they are set up for that again, that Ryan Day is going to have his guy. And that's what he wanted to do last year. It didn't quite work out, but the C.J. Stroud thing really did work out in the NFL. But you're right about it being, just like the perfect pitch for everybody. And it's interesting at Ohio State because you don't have to sacrifice being NFL ready for the team's sake. Like, it's not that he's just running all these concepts that are NFL and then his players are ready for it. They're also really freaking good.
Yeah, it helps. The Fan is now on YouTube. Watch your favorite shows live. Check out the videos, YouTube Shorts. How do you find us? Head to YouTube and search 971-97. See, I'm one of those guys. If it's written like numerically, they spelled it.
Okay, I'll change it.
97.1 The Fan, as if I don't, right? Don't forget to subscribe to the Fan's new YouTube channel, and you can watch us all there. All right, this one, you could have seen it coming 2 years ago, and it's a big one. And a coach at a prominent Southern school is involved in a lawsuit over money that was not handed over. We'll get to it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. You know what Rich is up to? He's got Memorial Day sales going all month long. Interest rates starting as low as 1.90% on the 2024s. The Civic LX sedan, the Accord LX sedan, and CRV LX two-wheel drives. And he's going to throw you an extra $1,000 for your trade. He wants to give you the best deal in town, and you will not be disappointed. Germain Honda of Dublin is my Honda dealer in Central Ohio, and hopefully yours on Sawmill Parkway just south of 270.
The standing room only, with all eyes on the 18th green.
There was some speed to this.
The sudden roars.
Gauged it just right.
That Sunday celebration.
From Oslo to Ohio, Victor Hovland is the champion.
It's better live. Join us at the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday, June 3rd through 9th. Visit memorialtickets.com today.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here, and I'm proud to tell you about my friends at the Diamond Cellar. I've been a customer for over 15 years, and springtime is the giving season, and everything from weddings to anniversaries, new babies, graduations, everything in between. I'm here to tell you firsthand, there is no better place to find the perfect gift for any occasion than the Diamond Cellar. As a true jeweler, they have the finest selection of luxury jewelry from world-class designers, or they can create something one of a kind just for you. It's Diamond Cellar. Check them out. Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, or diamondcellar.com.
I love a beautiful, healthy lawn. That's why I use TruGreen. They take the hassle out of fertilizing, aerating, and controlling weeds plus mosquitoes. All you have to do is water and mow. Give yourself time back to do what you want. And to top it off, sign up by May 28th and save an average of $200 when you bundle lawn care and mosquitoes. Visit TruGreen.com for the best lawn at the best price, guaranteed. Restrictions apply.
Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. If you have open roles, chances are you're feeling this too. That's why you need Robert Half. Our specialized recruiting professionals engage with our proprietary AI to connect businesses of all sizes with highly skilled talent in finance and accounting, technology, marketing and creative, legal, and administrative and customer support. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. We've got day baseball in Cleveland. The Guardians look to break out the brooms on the Mets this afternoon at 1:10. Guardians have won 5 straight and will send Tristan McKenzie to the mound today. Cleveland's got the best record in the AL Central and will spend the weekend out in Anaheim. As for the Reds, Cincinnati blanked San Diego 2-0 last night thanks to 7 scoreless from Andrew Abbott. They'll go in game 2 of a 3-game set tonight at 6:40. Nick Martinez will toe the rubber for the Redlegs there. In the NBA last night, the Celtics beat the Pacers 133-128 in overtime last night in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Indiana had 21 turnovers in the loss. Boston takes a 1-0 lead in that series and they'll host game 2 tomorrow night. On the court tonight, the Timberwolves host the Mavericks in game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Tip-off there is 8:30. You can hear that game on the Fan following the Buckeye Show. And on the ice, the Panthers take on the Rangers tonight in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Not interested in Iowa football? Too bad. Chops will tell you about it anyway. This is Bishop and Friends.
Second hour of the program. Hey Guys coming up in an hour. Still time to get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas at 971 BFS. I think Jaden Rashad is going to win. I think he's going to win. I think he's probably got a case. I'm guessing he's got receipts, and I think he's going to win some of what was promised. If you do not recall all of this, this is 2022 when this is going on. This is the onset of NIL. This is you have to put yourself in the position of the University of Florida at that time and the utter desperation to land a big-time player because you're hanging on for your job. You're trying to make momentum in the job early. You got to remember Dan Mullen was fired at Florida because of the comments he made about recruiting, not because of what they did on the field. He's probably the most successful Florida coach since Urban, and they've gone through a bunch of them. But he wasn't crazy about recruiting. So Billy Napier's on the job. He's trying to make a big impact and a big splash in recruiting right away. So the story goes, and the lawsuit now goes, that Billy Napier and a big-time Florida booster, among others, who is mentioned in this lawsuit, that they defrauded him out of millions of dollars by backing out of a promised $13.85 million agreement after the quarterback had turned down offers tied to other programs. The lawsuit, which was filed yesterday, includes allegations that Rashada signed his national letter of intent at Florida on December 21st, 2022, less than an hour after Napier promised the player's father $1 million partial payment that day upon signing. Rashada never received the $1 million. The booster never fulfilled the deal, the lawsuit states. The lawsuit also states, quote, sadly, unethical and illegal tactics like this are more and more commonplace in the Wild West that is today's college football landscape. As the first scholar athlete to take a stand against such egregious behavior by adults who should know better, Jaden seeks to hold defendants accountable for their actions and to expose the unchecked abuse of power that they shamelessly wielded. The file includes text messages from Marcus Castro Walker, a defendant in the lawsuit, who had been Florida's director of player engagement and NIL, sent to Rashada's NIL agents, including one on October 27, 2022, that reads, "You already know what we need to do over the next few days. Get us the quarterback." Another text sent 3 days later, "We need to lock down Jaden." On National Signing Day, after one version of the contract had already been terminated, Castro Walker threatened that if Rashada didn't sign with Florida, Coach Napier might walk away from Jaden entirely, the lawsuit states. It's unclear to whom the threat was delivered. You got to remember, the reporting at the time was that he had like a $9 million offer from the University of Miami, and then this was how you get to the $13.85 million offer from Florida. Not a lawyer, bird law or otherwise, but I did hear Mike Bennett, who just went through law school and was and is studying for the bar.
Oh, pride never dies.
That's right. So there's a lot of them, man. We got a lot of these guys around. A lot of you Centerville punks around here. But the great helmets, by the way. Love the Centerville helmet. But the point that Mike made was, at what point does an agreement become something that is binding? If you left other money on the table for this agreement, at what point does that become, like when he signs the letter of intent, does that now trigger the agreement? And that will be what they're trying to do here. Napier's hands all over this. It's not good for him. And his leash is probably about as short as anybody in the SEC to begin with. And now he's mixed up in this lawsuit. Rashada is now at Georgia, by the way.
And Kirby Smart supposedly gave his blessing to doing this. That's what I heard. Yeah.
What's that conversation like between Rashada and Smart?
Oh, I don't think Kirby cares. If your Kirby isn't you're like, first of all, like that is a bitter rival who you have vanquished. You know, I mean, you got to remember, guys, like there was a time when Florida beat Georgia every single year. They beat them. Mark Richt couldn't beat him forever. Like one time they scored a touchdown. He sent the whole team out onto the field in the cocktail party because they never beat Florida. Like they didn't beat him under Spurrier. They didn't beat him under Meyer. Usually they were bludgeoned. And so Florida is the biggest rival for Georgia. I mean, that's the cocktail party, all of it. That's their biggest rival, not just on the field, but also in recruiting. They recruit the same players, the same footprint, all of it. So if you're Kirby and you get a talented player, and by the way, he's also going to kneecap your biggest rival, then what do you care? It's not going to be a distraction for you, as buttoned up as his program is.
Yeah, it's sort of an all's fair in love and war in SEC football type mentality, and I think that's how Kirby Smart would approach it. It's really, I really want to know what the counter is, because we've dealt with this where there are lawsuits going on all sorts of things, but the one it really reminds me of when I'm talking this way is the Michael Orr, the Blindside one, where he said something and then the family came out and said another thing. You don't know which side to believe, but I'm really interested to see what Florida's counter is to it, because the lawsuit looks to be the reality of what happened based on what we knew about this story previously. And now there's even a few more with the text messages and other names named, and there's a Gator collective that's involved. Okay, we got some more details about that. Florida really they gave out a little comment via text message to ESPN, but it was kind of, a nothing word salad type thing. What is actually their legal counter? And I'm not a lawyer, but I would think, could they go over something like, well, he never actually rendered any of the services, so that the contract doesn't work, but then you guys never had the contract. I don't know what it's going to be, because I agree with you. I think they're going to lose this one.
Just a spitball in here, those text messages would indicate a major NCAA violation with NIL inducements for high school students. I would imagine, again, communications degree from state school, go Bobcats, they settle this.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah, you don't want this. Honestly, I'd be far more fearful if I were the University of Florida. I'd be far more fearful in this all playing out in a court of law by a tenfold than I would ever be about the NCAA. I don't think the NCAA is going to be able to enforce any of this stuff that they're laying down. We already see Florida State saying, hey, we're not going to take that now. Try and prove it. We're good. You need to rescind it. I don't think the NCAA is in the position to enforce anything over the last 4 or 5 years. So I don't think there's going to be any penalty there. I just think you don't want all this stuff out there. I agree with you. I think it'll go settlement probably rather quickly. And I'm guessing Jaden Rashad is going to get a big bag on this. The thing that is, if you're everybody else out there who's in the booster world, that you have to remember we're more organized now on it. And I'll give Ohio State a lot of credit. Ohio State did not jump into the pool without knowing how deep the water was. Ohio State waded in and got organized. And now, and we saw it, right? We use that analogy, they brought the other arm out from behind their back, and now they're fighting with both fists. But they didn't jump into water that was shallow. Many of these Southeastern Conference schools, we saw this at Texas A&M, we're seeing it with this instance at Florida, where they jumped into water that was shallow. And what exactly are the repercussions of that? This is a repercussion of that. What happened at Texas A&M with that recruiting class is a repercussion of that. Jimbo eventually lost his job over it. Now he's still got his ranches and all of his millions, so the loss isn't that big. But from the standpoint of, there was such desperation down there to capitalize and to do it right away because everyone was doing it. And I got to keep him away from the University of Miami. I got to keep him out of there. That's a rival. He's got to be here. By the way, this is also the best example of why NIL was always going to be curbed. Jaden Rashad is not worth $13.85 million in a real market, but he was in that moment because there was desperation for those teams to sign him because you had to get a 5-star quarterback in the class. You had to. Otherwise, what are you doing?
You talk about
in that moment, he was worth it. Big picture, of course he's not.
That market for those guys, okay, so 9.5 for Miami, and so they have to go up to a certain amount, but it appears that they either weren't willing to pay it or didn't have it. And I saw some refrains yesterday on Twitter from people talking about Jaden Rashad. How could his family be so naive to think that this would be the number? And it's nobody really knows what the number is. I mean, you can actually work it out in your head and be like, it's not worth that. But especially during this time, it's leveled out a little bit. Each year it levels out a little bit more as the market kind of figures itself out. But why wouldn't you believe it? Miami said 9.5. This one came up with a bigger bill. And also, believing a lie is not legal precedent. The lie is. And that's what Florida did.
Speaking of Miami, is there a chance that Florida paid John Ruiz, the Life Wallet guy?
What do you mean?
Did you see part of that where it was alleged, again, this is all allegations, that they had paid Miami to kind of back off of Jaden Rashad? The Life Wallet guy and the Miami booster, I guess there's maybe 3 of them, were offering big money to Rashad, and the Gator Collective cut a check. And all being alleged. to go away.
That's a weird one. So then collectives will use their funds to pay another collective so that collective doesn't go after a player they want to go after.
This is the best example going. This is the most recent best example going of, because there is not uniform legislation on how to do this, and because the NCAA didn't jump in front of this, and now states have different laws, these collectives, which, by the way, are typically run, but if you are ultra wealthy, someone who wants to fund a collective or something like that, unless it's inherited wealth, which there's a lot of inherited wealth, there's usually some great deal of intellect. And even the people who have inherited wealth, they usually have attorneys that are really good, right? Like, so it's rare. My point of all this is, like, these contracts that are now being signed and now being organized are much further along than they were in 2022. The Athletic actually had a story surveying a bunch of NIL collectives and agents and people involved about how they go about these contracts and the way that they enforce them. Because one thing I've always said on this show is, like, what is stopping Julian Sayin, let's say, from signing with Ohio State, getting a bag of cash, and then going back to market? I mean, you could do it in the second portal if you wanted to.
That's supposedly what Caden Proctor did at Iowa.
That's what Proctor did, right? Like, he went to Iowa, took a bag, then went back to market and went back to Alabama. So that's allegedly what happened there. I mean, it kind of looks like that's what did. So they're drawing up contracts now in real time, trying to protect themselves. Because what we've always said about this, wealthy people don't like losing money. They're not a big fan of that. Nobody is. But they aren't either. And they don't like to be made to look a fool. That's the other part of it.
That's the problem with this story, is it makes everybody involved on the Florida side look like a fool. Like, all of them. Everybody who's named in the lawsuit. Now, this is from their side, so it's obviously a skewed viewpoint to it. But it's, like I said, the way it follows the actual story that we saw a year and a half ago, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Statement from LifeWallet CEO and founder John Ruiz on the Jaden Rashada lawsuit. LifeWallet nor John H. Ruiz ever had any deal with Rashada that amounted to $9.5 million. LifeWallet had a very small deal with Rashada while he was a big school student in California. Rashada and his father are stand-up individuals.
Smart of him.
Yeah, don't touch me. I no hands on this. And also to compliment them at the end of it, right?
Here's the Athletic story. Go ahead, Reese. You have one more.
Well, so continuing with the statement, he says LifeWallet was repaid by those controlling the Gators' fundraising efforts.
Okay. Yeah. LifeWallet, is that still a thing?
I mean, I think it is still a thing.
Being investigated by multiple government agencies.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I looked up its stock price, and it has completely plummeted since whenever, it kind of broke for them, and then it's worth nothing.
Hey, if
now.
GameStop can come back, so can LifeWallet.
Short LifeWallet.
Yeah, that's the way to handle that. This story in the Athletic about these various collectives and how they're trying to protect themselves. There's some fascinating stuff in that. We're going to have that for you. Plus Ryan Day and Jim Tressel in one room. You'll hear it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Right now during Ram season, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab. 4x4 for $479 a month for 42 months with $4,279 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-877-RAM-5722 for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 6/3/2024.
Save big money at Menards. Add comfort to your life with Menards' great selection of Serta mattresses. Find the perfect mattress that fits your size and firmness needs. Hurry in today and pick up a Serta Gel memory foam mattress in a box. On sale now through May 27. Take control of your comfort with Serta mattresses at Menards. And check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
What's up, sandwich heads? Today on Steve-O's Sandwich Reviews, we've got the tips and tricks to the best sandwich order. And it all starts with this little guy right here. The crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi Zero Sugar. Every bite is better with Pepsi.
Celebrate 30 years of family fun at the Wilds. Book a cabin stay and a zipline adventure over animal pastures. This is family fun. This is The Wilds. Visit thewilds.org and make memories together.
There's a little slice of heaven in a country road's escape. Pure perfection in the form of uncrowded nature. Over 1.5 million acres of parks and public lands. From mountain biking to stargazing. Churning white water to quiet trout streams far off the grid. Almost heaven is down to earth in West Virginia. Plan your getaway now at wvtourism.com.
With spring ball behind us, we're officially gearing up for the most anticipated football season ever. Excited? Nervous? Terrified to your very core? Think of us as your emotional safe space. Always your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. We go to war for you.
If you've been a bus accident victim, don't suffer in silence. Call attorney Robert Scherger at 877-WAR-FOR-YOU for a free consultation. Know your rights and get results. Visit warforyou.com for more information. warforyou.com.
If you're about to get engaged or ready to walk down the aisle, your true love deserves a true jeweler, the Diamond Seller. As a true jeweler, we not only have designer collections to meet your bridal needs, but we also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind. Visit the Diamond Seller today.
You walk into your bathroom every morning and every night, so why not have it be something great? Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. You've been thinking about it, so do it. Let my friends at the Bath Authority transform yours into whatever you envision. With the Bath Authority, every unit can be custom built by you with the premium accents and accessories that you want. And it can all be installed in as little as 1 day by certified factory technicians. And right now, the Bath Authority is giving you $1,500 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Is your IRS tax debt making you feel anxious? The professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to negotiate your fresh start. Call them now, 800-230-5174.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Waking up this morning, it is definitely on the warm side. Look for lots of clouds and showers out there today. The biggest chance of a strong storm will come this evening. Today, look for a high of 85. Tonight, look for showers and storms with lows in the middle 60s. I'm Doppler 10 meteorologist Dylan Robichaud on 97.1 The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop and Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
So I alluded to this in the previous segment. The Athletic put out a story. They surveyed numerous coaches, NIL collective officials, agents, personnel staffers, and players who have transferred on a variety of portal-related topics. I recommend you read it if you want to just know, like, how the hot dogs are made. It's all in there. But what struck me by this was the various ways that collectives are now trying to protect themselves. And so among the things that are in this story at The Athletic are these collective CEOs and some of the things they're having to say. So, for example, here is a collective CEO. This is number 4, they announce it, as every school has different contracts. Ours has verbiage that if you're no longer commercially beneficial for us to advertise you, there are reasons why that might be. One of them is being outside of the market. So if a kid transfers, it would trigger that clause in his contract, and doesn't say if you go in the portal. Who knows how legislation or laws will work out the next 2 to 5 years where they may shift, but our contracts are pretty flexible for both ends where they can cancel. We can cancel for marketing benefit. That's pretty, how do you define no longer commercially beneficial? Can that be you're not playing? Would that be no longer commercially beneficial? You're not as good as we thought. Could that be?
But so it can't be pay for play. Yeah. So I don't know how that works.
Can't it?
That's how a coach is going to tell who's the starter. Like, yeah, Devin Brown, you are no longer commercially viable.
You're not commercially viable.
One thing that I think will be interesting is, like, won't there eventually be a player who, because we've seen this, concussions or injuries add up or whatever. They're later on in their career. They know they're not making it to the NFL. Various reasons of why kids might end up not playing football anymore. They might retire from the sport, whatever. But what if they stay at the school? Because a lot of them are parameters about, like, being at that school or being within a certain radius of the school or all this stuff. Well, what if they just quit playing football? I guess that would mean they lose their commercial benefit, but I don't know if that would hold up if somebody challenged it.
Yeah, there's also very few who are going to be getting a big NIL bag who then would not play football unless it was for injury. To choose something else, it's so rare that happens. But no, they're doing this all in real time. They're writing their own laws because the NCAA didn't, and so the states gave the green light, and so these collectives are trying to protect themselves. Here's another one. This is from an NAL collective. This is identified as CEO 5. They have to live within 15 miles of campus in order for it to stay valid. Is that year-round? They have to. I think that's a wild one, the 15 miles within campus. Here's another one. This is CEO number 1. We have language in our agreement that the moment a player officially goes in the portal, we have the right to void, terminate, or cancel his contract because now he's no longer marketable to me as an ambassador for the collective because he's put out a post saying, I'm leaving the program to go pursue other opportunities. I can't market him to our fan base anymore. Well, no kidding. What I'm curious about is, do you get your money back? Is there any language in there that says, hey, we paid you a bunch and now you're no longer here? We'd like some of that money back. My guess is not. This is CEO number 3 in this story in The Athletic. Each deal lays out at the beginning a monthly structure. Each payment is contingent on the performance of that month's work. Dude, this is employee contract.
When they say performance, they're talking about going to social media posts and going to the charity events, but it's not really what.
Of course, it's not that. If they're no longer here working for the charity, it's voided. We haven't had an issue with guys leaving and trying to get future payments.
That was the one that spurned that idea for me of like, okay, yeah, but what if a guy doesn't like? You're right. Yes, the big high money guys are not going to be the guys that are going to be this situation. But if you're not one of those big high money guys and you don't have a future playing in the NFL, 10 grand's a lot of money as a college senior or wherever you're at in your schooling. And why wouldn't you just say, hey, I'm going to retire, but I'll still show up to the things. My collective deal is nothing in it is going to void it at this point. And then what's the collective going to do?
No one's going to cry over the spilled milk of this, but who is protecting, and this goes to the Rashada lawsuit, who is protecting the player in this? You see, I mean, this is why it's so convoluted. It is so confusing. Wild West is the correct term. It's been the correct term for years now. I don't know how you put it back in the bottle. It feels like the toothpaste is out of the tube at this point. I don't know how you jam it back in and try to create structure here because we're too far down the line. Even this settlement that we're going to talk about with Amanda Christovich coming up at 11:33 that's going to lead to pay for play. I was listening to Bob and Beam and Mike talking about it this morning, and Mike went to Boston and spoke in front of a council, and they were going kind of through all of this. He had an intimate kind of knowledge of how this was all going to shake out. The one thing that I don't know if anybody understands is like, well, who says 20 million's enough? Are you sure that's enough? And who gets that money? Is that the whole athletic department, or is it just the football team? Is it just those who make the money? Is it just those who play the sport that get the contract? I mean, who is on the side of labor here that's going to prevent lawsuits in perpetuity?
And once you get in, like, who's in charge of it? Because some of the quotes that stood out to me were from the coaches in this athletic article, and there were multiple coaches who, paraphrasing here, but they were saying similar things that, hey, X player came into my office today and said, this school is offering him $1 million, and we're not going to pay him $1 million. He's not worth that. And I say, go take that deal right now. And it's almost like they're, like, reversing it right back at the kids and saying, like, actually, I don't want you. Go take that deal. If you're bluffing, that's your problem. And that doesn't really seem like a good way to deal with the players, and again, does not protect them in any way. And there are agents involved, but I really feel like that's more for just going over the contracts to make sure that there's not crazy clauses in there. There were talks of owning your name, image, and likeness for perpetuity, something we've talked about recently as well. But yeah, who actually is making these deals and working them out? And then once the $20 million is available, who's in charge of giving? Is that the head coach? Is he in charge of how much money to give to each player? Does your letter of intent count as signing that contract? And you're going to have to opt into the class. That's one of the terms of the settlement right now. But it just all seems murky because what you're having is employees, and it needs to be a collectively bargained union, because that's what every pro sports that pays their athletes do.
You go cross-eyed. You do. It's just, it's so difficult. And you think about, you understand how Nick Saban said, even at $11 million a year, yeah, I'm good. You understand. I always thought to myself, I wonder if there would be a job that would entice Urban back. Would he want to go away, with that Jacksonville experience being like his last coaching experience? And the more that this stuff goes on, the more that I think, yeah, they would. They aren't going to be. And I was thinking about Tress. And you think about like Tress trying to, with the winner's manual and all of the things that he built his version of this Ohio State program around, like how much of that applies to now, and how would he navigate that? It's a fascinating thing. It'd be fun to have Jim on and talk to him about it. I know he's got a podcast. It's called It's All About the Team. He had Ryan Day on it on this week's edition of it. And one of the things that they kind of honed in on are the unified vision that champion teams have to have. And Jim talked about his Youngstown teams and about how they had lost the steel industry. And what Youngstown State football did was it gave pride back to a region, that type of unified goal. Like, we're going to do it for Youngstown. Not quite the same in terms of the economic impact, but Ryan Day trying to find a unified vision as well. Let's have a listen.
To me, when you look back and you recognize the teams that, there's a lot of teams every year, but the teams that win, the championship teams, it's usually they come together for a common purpose. When you're on a team, you're wearing the same jersey, you come together, you're practicing together, but does everyone on that team, do they have a common purpose in mind? Do they have a common goal in mind? And that's something that we've talked about with our team this year, is like really having that vision of what it is and what that purpose is, because it allows you to wake up with 2 feet on the ground every day when you know that there's a purpose bigger than you. Yep. And to your point, I think that's important for us. It's important for us this year, but to have guys who decided to forego the NFL draft to come back, and then a few other guys come into the program, you can feel that right now, where there's when they wake up in the morning, they're not just waking up because they have to be there at 7:15. They're waking up because they want to beat the team up north, win a national championship. Yes. Like, everyone in the team can tell you that. They're coming together for a common purpose, and that's what we hope in the end is what allows us to raise the trophy.
It's probably the best example of threading the needle of sense of urgency, common goal, purpose, unified vision, and it's better now that we get paid. Because I don't know that JT Tuimoloau, I don't know that Jack Sawyer, I don't know that I don't know any of those guys come back if there's not NIL. But they were able to, because if they're all going to be second-round picks at worst, right? But because there was an NIL inducement, so Ohio State probably, it really is the grand experiment. Can we pull this off where financially we got you taken care of, and also philosophically, we're all rowing in the same direction? It's going to be a fascinating season. One of the guys who's going to be covering it now is our good buddy Jake Trotter. He made the jump from the Browns to the college football beat. He's going to be with us every single week. He joins us coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here in The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road. road.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency, just another way to give your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help you save money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. And I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. But that's not just a slogan. It's the Care creed, not Creed the band. Yeah! It's the way they live their life and the way they strive to be remembered by you, the customer, at the end of every interaction with Care. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Big things are happening on the east side.
We're ready to deal. Come negotiate during May's Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda. Lower payments, better financing, more value for any trade. Shop lindsayhonda.com and see new Hondas with thousands in savings plus many other deals. We'll work hard to get you a payment you can afford. Now during May Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for program details. The Memorial is coming, and we'll be there, and you'll be there, and we'll all be. You get the point. The Fan is broadcasting live from the Memorial.
Sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling and Orthopedic One.
The Fan.
Have you lost Ohio Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
At Take 5, we're faster than you think. That means we'll change your oil and have you back on the road before you can count all the change in your center console. Cha-ching, baby. Just sit back and relax while our fast, friendly team does all the work. Take 5, the stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change.
Grab life by the chicken fingers and savor the day with hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, buttery Texas toast, and that secret cane sauce that makes everything that much better.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Summer is almost here, and NBC4 Today is giving you a chance to swim in cash. Get ready for summer. Check out NBC4 Today every morning, and you could win $400. Watch to win all this week on NBC4 Today at 6 a.m.
Tonight on Chicago Wednesday, it all comes down to an explosive 3-hour season finale event. First on Chicago Med, Archer and Goodwin must each make devastating decisions. Then on Fire, we say goodbye to a special hero who's been there since day one. And on PD, Voight's life is on the line and the unit races to try to save him. The Chicago Wednesday season finale event tonight on NBC.
Tonight beginning at 8 on NBC4. Local for you. Summer is almost here, and NBC4 Today is giving you a chance to swim in cash. Get ready for summer. Check out NBC4 Today every morning, and you could win $400. Watch to win all this week on NBC4 Today at 6 a.m.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Sponsored by Schottenstein Roofing. For top quality and a price match guarantee, visit SchottensteinRoofing.com.
Well, how about all that? I didn't know that was coming, Jake. I mean, we're ready to roll, buddy. Good to have you.
I like the Rocky River Greek Festival shout out there.
That's very good. Well, Fish does his homework. He's locked in, buddy. We've had you on many times on the Browns side of things, and let's just start there. You're going to be joining us regularly here on the program. I'm thrilled. You were always my favorite guy in the Browns beat, and if I was going to lose you off of that, I would want you on college football, where you and I have talked many times privately. There's a great passion. How did this come about to make the change from covering an NFL team daily to being a senior writer covering college football, which is where one of your great passions are?
Yeah, Bo, it's going to be fun talking to you more regularly. We would see each other in Berea, where the Browns practice facility is from time to time, and obviously would come on your show to talk Browns, and then Cleveland Browns Daily, which I'm coming on Tuesday. It's kind of a Browns farewell with you and Nathan Segura, which will be fun. But, I made this move five years ago to cover the Browns. I had covered college football before that. This was an opportunity, the way ESPN and I saw it, to make the move. The Browns at the time were an ascending team. I had experience covering Baker Mayfield in college, was actually at the Ohio State flag plant game back in 2017. It was also in Norman when Ohio State destroyed the Sooners in the basic defense game. You remember that one in 2016. So, I always had a background in college football and was ready for a new opportunity after 5 fairly turbulent, is that a fair word to put
yes.
on it? Turbulent seasons covering the Browns. And, ESPN came to me with this idea, and I jumped at the opportunity and excited to stay with the company. It's been a great company to work for, and excited to cover college football, which has always been my first love, and pumped to talk college football with you going forward.
Well, the balance will be, and I'm curious, because when you're covering an NFL team the way that you were, it's a night in, night out daily siege, right? I mean, it's just an informational siege. Like you're just looking, and you're all on one thing. But I knew out of the corner of your eye, you're paying attention to what's been happening in college football. And quite honestly, the short version of it's a lot. A lot's been happening in college football since you left it. So
it is crazy, Bo, how much college football has changed in 5 years. It's almost a completely different sport in a lot of ways.
Well, you were in Norman, obviously, covering Oklahoma. They are now a member of the Southeastern Conference. Let's just start with that perspective. As you've watched from afar what has happened with the sport from a realignment perspective, who do you think has won, and what do you make of where the two power conferences are running this thing now?
So it remains to be seen how permanent these conference moves are. It feels like more shoes are going to drop. I don't know what that's going to mean. I think it could mean a bunch of different things. We could have traditional conference realignment. We could have a new system altogether. College football has been changing at such a rapid pace. It's hard to predict. When I think of Oklahoma, the first school that comes to mind, Bo, is Nebraska. And there's so many similarities between the two programs. And Nebraska, when they made the move to the Big Ten back in 2010, 2011, Nebraska wasn't quite at its apex at that point, but it was still, they had Ndamukong Suh. They were still a, 8, 9, 10 win program competing for Big 12 titles. And 6 or 7 years earlier, they had Eric Crouch and they were playing for national championships. They went to the Big Ten, and what looked like a tremendous opportunity for that program has, I think we'd all agree at this point, backfired. I mean, they have been largely irrelevant since they went to the Big Ten. They have more money than they know what to do with, because of the Big Ten distribution. But, they're not the same football program they were. And it's sad to see. I mean, we grew up, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Thanksgiving weekend. Nebraska in the 90s, people won't remember this, but Tommy Frazier and Lawrence Phillips, like they were what Alabama is now back then. And in the 70s, they were what Georgia is now. And they're just not anymore. And so when you think about Oklahoma, they're going to the SEC, which the SEC West, or the teams they're going to play, I mean, they're going to play 4 top 12 teams in a row in November. And that's just something playing in the Big 8 and the Big 12 Oklahoma is not accustomed to. It's going to be a significant adjustment. And they're not exactly rolling in with their best foot forward. Oklahoma's kind of scuffled around, since really Baker and Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts, those guys graduated. And, I think there's a fear there that, like, are we getting ready to be the Nebraska of the SEC? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think Oklahoma has some advantages that Nebraska didn't, with Texas recruiting that basically got shut off after the move. But it is a cautionary tale. So you look across college football and, like, where has realignment really worked out for anyone all that well? it's hard to find a lot of examples of that. I mean, even Texas A&M, which got the huge boost going to the SEC and the Johnny Football Mania, what have they won since they've gone to the SEC?
No.
I mean, they've essentially been like Nebraska of the SEC. So be careful what you wish for, and the grass may seem greener, but if you're Washington and Oregon, you got to play Ohio State and Michigan now. That is a different animal than what they have been used to. And so it's going to be interesting to see how all these programs adjust to these mega conferences in the Big Ten and the SEC. And I think a lot of them could struggle more than we anticipate.
Well, the other thing we're going to have to get used to is, you and I grew up covering the sport, and most people out there listening grew up covering the sport. We're like, boy, you can't lose. You lose a game. You could maybe lose once, and maybe you could find your way back in. But with a 12-team playoff, and eventually what's going to be a 16-team playoff probably in the next couple of years, what's going to change is going to be the narrative around the teams that can make it. You mentioned Oklahoma's schedule with the ranked teams that they play in November. Greg Sankey is going to say, my 9-3 is better than your 11-1. That's coming. And it kind of happened last year, right, with Florida State on its own, where now they weren't the same team. They had injuries, so it kind of was a get-out-of-jail-free card a little bit for the committee. But what's going to happen is the Big 12 and the SEC are going to control the amount of teams in that playoff, if not directly, indirectly, with their television partners, ESPN and Fox primarily, the ones that are going to be all involved in all of this going forward. How is the fans, are they ready for that? Are they ready for... We went 9-3 in our league, and that's better than you going 11-1, Clemson. Like, is this sport ready for that? Because that's coming.
I mean, we're going to see some 9-3 teams in the playoff. There's no doubt about it. If you go 9-3 in the Big Ten, if you go 9-3 in the SEC, you're going to have a pretty good case for the playoff. Here's what I love about the playoff expansion most, though, and I've been calling and hoping that they would go to 8 back when they were 2 and then even 4. There's going to be more games that matter in November than ever before. Iowa State, Kansas State in November all of a sudden looks completely different. If, like, the winner of that game has a chance to go to the Big 12 championship and get that automatic bid in the 12-team playoff. I mean, both those teams could be having great seasons previously, and that game would have no consequence on the national landscape. There's just going to be more games that matter. If you're Ohio State, maybe you lose to Oregon on the road. Maybe you slip up elsewhere. Previously, your season would have effectively been over by Ohio State standards, which is to win a national championship every year. Now, okay, you lost a couple of games early, but you can bounce back from that. And I just think more teams are going to have more to play for, and for the fans, there's just going to be more meaningful games late in the year. I mean, when we had, the 14 playoff, we kind of knew who was going to be in by like mid-October. Like, maybe the 5 or 6 teams we knew who was going to be, and then everybody else was just kind of playing for consolation prizes. Now, if you're Michigan State or you're Ole Miss, and maybe you can't beat Ohio State, you can't beat Alabama, you still have a chance to get into the playoff. Now, will we see any upsets in the playoff? Like, how's that going to work? I don't know how that's going to go down, how that what the consequences of the expansion are going to be. We're going to have more blowouts. I don't know. But what I do like is that more teams are going to be in the mix in November, and I think that's great to unregionalize college football and to give more fans something to pull for late in the year.
We have never had anything like this, where you could have upwards of 20 teams going into November, 25 with a shot. And you and I, we're all fans of content, and it's going to be better going forward on that side of it. There's a lot of mess off the field, but the on-field stuff is going to be a lot of fun. Going to love having you on, buddy. Thrilled that this is the move. Thrilled that you're back in the college football world, and look forward to talking to you regularly. Thanks for your time, brother.
I appreciate you both. Take care.
All right, that's our good buddy Jake Trotter, ESPN, now a senior writer on the college football side of things, covering the national picture of college football. He'll be on with us weekly going forward, so you have that to look forward to, which is very, very nice. We hit Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
New 2024. Up to 72 months Aria. Up to 36 months Rogue. And 6/3/24.
Reichert Nissan has an announcement to make. 0% financing is now available for up to 72 months. Take a Reichert Nissan Aria home today and pay 0% for 72 months. But that's not all. Reichert Nissan also has 0% financing on Rogue 2. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
With approved credit. Residency restrictions apply. Offers cannot be combined. Dealer contribution affects consumer cost.
Scotty Vegas here. When I stepped on the scale in January, it read 236 pounds. Now here in May, 192. Usually the only math I do is figuring out odds, but this math is easy. I lost 44 pounds with Awaken 180. And now I'm on the maintenance plan with Awaken 180. My meetings with my coach Patrick every week were more of a celebration. He taught me I could lose weight, lose it fast, and now keep it off. My tennis team, who I hadn't seen since last summer, couldn't stop talking about my new speed around the court. After my last match, I even walked 18 holes afterwards. And the energy, it was incredible. The great thing is I was enjoying bacon, steak, and a lot of my favorite foods during this Awaken 180 journey. If you're ready to start the journey too, then make your own Bacon 180 with Awaken 180. Online at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
The Fan is your home for the Dallas Cowboys.
No, we're not. You can't say that. Take two.
The Fan is your home of the Buckeyes. Yes, that's right. Same thing, but more playoff success. Now give Big Voice Guy another brandy. Thank you. The Fan.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Want to know anything about the Fan's contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
First one up today, Adam Sandler. He was on the Dan Patrick Show yesterday where he detailed some of the working plot for Happy Gilmore 2.
I mean, I will. Right when we zero in, we have some million things like I told you, but I just gotta kind of make it flow a little more. But I think it might have to do with something with me being a little older now and still trying to compete with the youngsters.
Oh, so you're going to be
anything great to do.
So you're going to be playing golf in the movie?
I think so. Right now I am. Yeah, it makes sense to me. We'll see. Hurley, he was at the. He went down to the tournament this weekend and hung out with some of the guys. He hung out with Daly a little bit, and Daly was telling him some great stories. We're ready, baby. We're excited.
Is John Daly going to be in the movie?
I would like to think so.
It was cutting in and out a little bit, but he was also asked, will Tiger be in it? Sandler said, quote, I would love it. We'll see. Thing or not a thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a thing. It's going to be, look, the one thing I'll say about this, and I think, Chops, you were off last week when this came to light towards the end of the week, and we talked about it a little bit. The one thing that's really tricky here is usually when you reboot something, like the Top Gun Maverick stories are pretty few and far between when you try to pick up something. Like Eddie Murphy's tried this with Coming to America. He's going to try it with Axel F this summer. It is hard, and there's been others, where something that was really good back then is then now tried to be rebooted with a similar group. The key, I like that idea of him as an old guy. The one thing, though, is like, what has happened between when Gilmore left off and now? Like, is he ultra wealthy Gilmore? You would think, right? Because
he's Rocky 3 where he loses his pride because he's just a rich guy now.
He's just a rich guy, yeah. Like, and he's got to go back to L.A. and train with Apollo's people. I don't know. So I think how they navigate it will be interesting. I mean, and I think all of these people will be involved. I think one thing you have to understand is, like, for people who love golf, this generation, like, Happy Gilmore is their Caddyshack. So I'm sure Tiger will be involved in it. I would imagine John Daly would be involved in it. I'm sure a lot of the young players would love to be involved in it.
It's just such a fun movie. But yeah, those legacy, especially comedy sequels, they never age the character up is the problem. They don't let the time actually have happened in movie universe. So like Dumb and Dumber 2, well, yeah, it makes sense that Harry and Lloyd were really, really stupid when they were in their late 20s, maybe early 30s. But now these guys are like 50. How are they still acting like this and that movie doesn't work?
No. I couldn't get over the cell phone audio. He was interviewing with Dan Patrick. Like, he's clearly
on
just
all the time with Dan.
His phone.
And he was doing the old guy thing where he was leaning his ear in, so his face was in profile.
Yes.
It also sounds like he's just winging Happy Gilmore too.
Seems like it.
Which is, I guess, a thing.
Have you seen some of his recent movies? It feels like they wing most of them.
I have not seen an Adam Sandler movie since Big Daddy.
Oh, wow. That's 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Maybe 25.
Yeah, I haven't seen one thing he's done since.
I don't know if you've missed
I don't think
much.
I've missed much. Yeah.
No, I was going to say Mr. Deeds, maybe.
Oh, I saw that. Was that after?
That was after.
That was after.
Okay,
but
so then that
50, maybe 50 First Dates?
You can skip that.
I don't think so.
I like that one. It's a good plane movie.
Speaking at Jets OTAs on Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers was asked about potentially being the VP candidate for Robert Kennedy Jr.'s presidential bid.
Yeah, I love Bobby. We had a couple of really nice conversations, but there were really two options. It was retire and be his VP or keep playing. And I want to keep playing.
Rodgers was also asked...
Hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, thing or not a thing. We'll start with this one.
There's really, with a straight face, there's really two options. Be his VP or keep playing, and I want to keep playing. That was the quote. It's funny because, like, on Hard Knocks, I found Rodgers to be so likable, and yet he seems to be someone who takes himself so ultra seriously, and then, but AJ loves him. So, like, I don't know if he's all, like, in on the act. I don't get it. I don't understand what he's doing. But that was incredible to say that without cracking a smile. Like, be a VP. Like, he was really considering, I don't know, what should I do? Should I retire and be vice president, or should I keep playing?
Well, and he was talking about that it was something that, yeah, it was real. Like, it was there. So he wanted people to know that, like, yeah, he really could have been VP. But, yeah, it's really hard to get a read on exactly what he's trying to do. But they did, some of the reporters in there, pushed him on the idea of, like, well, didn't you say during the season that, like, the Jets need to focus more on football and get rid of the BS out of the room? And they're like, but then you're always doing all this stuff and dipping your hand into other things. And his response was like, well, that was in the off season. So once we get into the season, then it's clear out everything. And it's like, okay, man, sure, whatever. I don't really believe him, but that's what he said. Just like the VP thing, like, who knows if it's really real? But now he said it's real, and there's no point for Robert Kennedy Jr. to turn that down. That's just a famous person that's kind of in your corner now. Like, that's going to help you, even though he has no shot of winning. It's all just a weird situation. Everything's weird. That's the problem. Everything is weird now. From ESPN, the NFL will implement optical tracking systems for yardage rulings this preseason with the potential for full-time implementation, a source confirmed to ESPN. The league considers this a test run of accuracy on line-to-gain rulings, the source said, with the option to continue the use of measuring chains in 2024. The league has experimented with the system in the past, but would need to install it in every NFL stadium for functional use in the regular season. Thing or not a thing?
No-brainer thing. Thing that should have been done a decade ago. Like, how long have we had VAR in soccer? I mean, it's been forever. Like, this isn't hard. Like, this should be it. The idea that the National Football League, which is the most cash-rich entity in professional sports, in sports period, is still having two guys running in with a chain to determine the position of a ball. The idea that an official running into a pile knows where it's spotted is nonsense. This should have been done years ago. So I'm glad they're finally doing it. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah, this is, again, a thing that should have been done a while ago. Just real quick, choose your own adventure. We want to do 2026 NFL draft or Aaron Rodgers' ankle, or Aaron Rodgers' Achilles, I should say.
Do the Achilles.
At OTAs yesterday for the New York Jets, quarterback Aaron Rodgers was asked how his Achilles rehab's going.
I feel really good. It's just about the mental part. Just, I think these practices have been nice the last couple of days. I just feel what it's like to be out there, to be moving around and not be thinking about it, and see how I respond the next day. So it's just this last part. You know, the strength is good, the movement's good, just the confidence to do everything.
Thing or not a thing?
Well, I thought he was going to play like in December last year. What's taking so long? Isn't that what he said?
They even mentioned that in the article. Like, he looked gingerly when he was practicing last year with the practice squad. He looks much better now. And it's like, yeah, because he was not going to be ready then.
Mother Ayahuasca hasn't cleared him yet.
Jeez. We talk about all the time, the pain in the neck versus value. That's going to be put to the test this season for him.
Especially,
it really will be.
If they're not good. Like, now it's like, okay, they've had a good roster for 2 years. They've improved steadily without Aaron Rodgers. But what happens if they're just bad again?
If they're bad, it'll be because he's not good.
Yeah,
because everything else is good. So it's just, can he be good? If he can be good, then they're going to be. Final hour here coming up on a First Friday. Hey, guys, coming up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
News, opinions, and insight, all before breakfast. Rise and shine with Morning Juice.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. You probably heard me talk about Dr. Mark Levy's custom-fit oral appliances to help treat sleep apnea and how they are so much better than using those bulky, uncomfortable CPAP machines. Well, I've been talking about it for years, and the FDA just recently announced a recall of over 18 million CPAP masks. Yikes! These CPAP masks, the ones with magnetic headgear clips, can potentially interfere with certain medical devices. Pacemakers, implantable defibrillators, neurostimulators, aneurysm clips. And if that happens, that can cause injuries not only to yourself if you use these masks, but also your partner as well. Sleep apnea is no joke, and as I've been saying, it affects everyone in the home. So if you've been diagnosed with sleep apnea and you can't tolerate your CPAP machine anymore, or, just flat out worried it could possibly do harm to you, that sort of thing, call Dr. Mark Levy today for your custom oral appliance at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's right, Dr. Mark Levy, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or book an appointment online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
This offer is only available at Reichert Ford. 0% financing for 72 months on every 2023 Ford F-150 in stock. Take advantage of Reichert's rate before it's too late. Lock in your 0% rate and take a new truck home today. Thousands of vehicles are waiting at ReichertFord.com.
See dealer for details. N6324.
Exclusively at Reichert Ford. 0% for 72 months is now available on every new 23 F-150 in stock. Hundreds of trucks at ReichertFord.com. We're dealing.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Every shot, every goal, ESPN Bet has fans covered for the biggest moments on the road to the championship. The exclusive sportsbook of ESPN is the only place to find special offers and promotions from your favorite ESPN shows and personalities throughout the playoffs. New users can get a bet reset up to $1,000 in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Download ESPN Bet today. What a play. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jung's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Last night in Boston, the Celtics took Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals with an overtime win over the Pacers. C's lead the best of 7, 1-0 and will host Game 2 on Thursday. Tonight in Minnesota, the Timberwolves host the Mavericks in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Tip-off there is 8:30. You can hear that one on the Fan following the Buckeye Show. In the NHL, the Rangers host the Panthers in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Face-off from Madison Square Garden's 8 p.m. In baseball Wednesday, the Guardians look to sweep the Mets in the finale of a 3-game set. Tristan McKenzie's going to toe the rubber in Cleveland at 1:10. The Reds snapped a 3-game losing streak with a win over the Padres last night. Cincinnati will host San Diego tonight at 6:40. And ESPN is reporting the Steelers are, quote, cautiously optimistic that Pittsburgh will host a draft sometime in the near future. The 2026 site is currently available as next year will be the final year in Indianapolis. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a First Friday Miracle Edition. Amanda Christovich going to join us at the bottom of the hour on what the next couple of days are going to look like as far as the NCAA is concerned. Pay for play is coming. Could it happen by the end of this week? Very likely could. Between now and then, though, time for a little hey guys. Hit it, fellas.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Yeah, you're talking about High Bank. You're talking about the best blended whiskey, 3 years running, located right here in town. The new ready-to-made drink cocktail, Midnight Manhattan, is an absolute must. Just have it on the bar, be ready, post-dinner, parties, all of it. It's a win. You pour it over a rock, and away you go. Fantastic win there from them, and a great job of Adam and the whole gang putting that one together. Find High Bank Distillery's award-winning local spirits at a liquor store near you, and learn more about the Whiskey War line and the Midnight Manhattan at highbankdistillery.com.
First one today comes from a loyal listener, Kyle. He says, hey, guys, as you continue to get older, do you have more or less excitement for summer activities that surround you with heat and humanity, or are you slowly becoming common, man?
Oh, I'm a decade ahead of Mike. A decade ahead. I am not really excited about anything anymore. That's what I found. That as I've gotten older, everything just feels like drudgery. Even things that should be exciting are not. And it sucks, but this is what happens when you get older. Like, we went to Hawaii for spring break, and all I was thinking about was the stress of the flights. That's all I was worried about, was the flights. My wife's like, are you enjoying this now? I'm like, yeah, it's great. It's paradise. Fine. But, like, how's this flight home going to go? Like that, I can't. And it's a flaw. It's a fatal flaw of mine. But yes, as you get older, you just become miserable all the time. Not literally miserable, like you enjoy life, but like when you think of anything that uproots your routine, you view it as not with the view of like, oh, that's going to be so fun or so exciting, but rather like, oh yeah, I guess I got to go do that. Which sucks, but that's just where you're at. It's where I'm at anyway.
Yeah, I think that like with the summer activities, it's more that like what I'm excited for at each of them has changed. I haven't been to an amusement park in so long. A few times, J-Lo has some family in Orlando, so we've been to like Disney World and Universal, but like Cedar Point or Kings Island, I might be over a decade since I've been to one of those. It's really just about the rides and everything, but I don't mind the crowds as much when we're outside. It really, what annoys me about crowds is like echoey, constant barrage of sound. And when you're outside, it can dissipate a little bit, and you don't have to deal with that as much. So the summer's better for that. But like the fair, I actually do like going to the fair, but I don't really ride the rides. Maybe one, but like I'm not sure I trust fair rides. It's more for the food and like the livestock is there, and there's like a petting zoo. Like that stuff I think is fun. And then the other one that's famous outdoor activity is the pool. I'm not excited for swimming. I'm not excited for playing water games or, doing any of that, hanging out at the concession stand. No, once you hit my age, especially like those first few years out of college, because everybody's got a nice new apartment that's got a pool. Those apartments that are popping up all over town, if you go to one of those pools on a day where it's 90 degrees, it is just a bunch of 20-somethings drinking beer endlessly, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, when you were 20-something. Now,
no, not now.
Boy, being in your 30s, it's a hell of a time for that. But I'm a fan. Like, give me the heat, give me the humanity, give me the humidity. I was at Sonic Temple last weekend. Like, I love that stuff.
Well, you got a parade too.
So UA down Northwest Boulevard. This had to be a couple days ago. Put up the 4th. I don't know. I call them the 4th of July banners, but they got the light posts that kind of recognize it's summer, baby.
It's coming, baby. One thing, it's also possible that my outlook for this summer is clouded by the fact that I have 3 weekends where I have to go to travel lacrosse, and the locations, 2 of the locations are Rockford, Illinois, and Indianapolis. So you want to talk about great places that I can't wait to spend my June and July.
I have absolutely nothing I want to do in Indiana.
Same, brother. Same.
The other thing too, Bo, with what you were talking about, where like it stresses you out, is when you're a kid, everything is fun because you don't have to plan anything.
You're not doing any of it.
It just appears one day. You're either on a vacation or there's some sort of event that you're going to. Now, as an adult, you have to plan all the pieces.
Well, and when you have the children, you're now responsible for them.
So now you're outside just yourself.
So it's not like it's ever just like me and my wife like going to cruise around. Like that's not it.
Next one from Just Some Dude. Hey, guys, what are the odds in 10 years football/men's basketball splits off from universities to their own professional leagues? He wants us to actually put a percentage on it.
Well, I believe that's been my walking orders for a long time, is to privatize those two, and then they're not. Then you get out from under the Title IX stuff. You get out from under, having to pay for sports that don't make any money, and then all of the sports that aren't those two, they have got to be able to be self-sustaining. Otherwise, they don't exist. Or they go back to what they were intended to be in the beginning, which were true student athletes, not for-profit entities. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's 100% that's where it's coming. You want to go 99.9 just to give it, a wiggle room out? Fine. But, no, I can't see a scenario where it's not. There's a great many things that we've gotten wrong over the years on this show, but forecasting where this is going is something we've been pretty on top of from the beginning.
Yeah, if he limited it to 5 years, I would definitely pull the percentage down to maybe like 60-40 or something. But if you give me 10 in 2034, what's this going to look like? With how fast this is moving, I really have no reason to think that that's not where we're headed, because every step they've made has just been closer to that. They don't want to do it, but 10 years is a lot of time in the college sports landscape.
I would still say 2060 because they're still going to include the universities. Like, you're still going to get Ohio State football. It'll just be a weird mix of both.
Well, they always have to include the university, otherwise they're just another football league.
Here's how this is what's going to be interesting.
Because you can't ever,
do they still require Ohio State football players to be students? Will that always be the case? Will they always have to have an academic requirement? That will be the fascinating part of this.
Yeah, but as far as like having Ohio State on, I mean, like doctors' offices are part of the Ohio State network, and last time I checked, doctors get paid. So they have put their label on professional things, and I think that's what they would do. They would just have an Ohio State professional football team.
Correct, but will there always be a requirement for them to be students?
And then what makes up eligibility as well too?
Right, because right now it's almost entirely online.
Mm-hmm. Dustin with this one. Hey, guys, my dream has come true, and I get to coach my son in football and maybe basketball this year. He's going into 6th grade, but I'm really struggling to find the balance between dad and coach. Any advice?
Yeah, I mean, I did this. My oldest is a 6th grader. I've done it with all 3 of the boys. I coached my oldest in football and basketball this year. I don't know if I do it all right, but what you're going to – there's plenty of mistakes you make along the way. I think what you're going to realize is that – during the time that there is practice, you're going to be harder on him than anybody else, and quite frankly, you're going to have to be. and that's got to be understood. And my recommendation is you have that conversation with him before you start. Just say, understand that I've got to be tougher on you than everybody else, because if I'm tough on you, then I can be tough on anybody, right? So I'm going to ride you, and just get ready for that. Like, you're going to have to be better than everybody else. I'm not talking about as a performance. I'm talking about you're paying attention to details. You're locking in when I'm talking, those type of things. If I go over a play, then you have to know the play I'm going over, or I'm going to light you up. Because if you're not paying attention, why the hell would any of them, right? So set that standard and have that conversation with him before it all starts. But then, and this is the one that I think is really critical. So during practices, during games, you're the coach. But on those car rides, you're dad. That's dad time. So on those car rides, then you talk to him like he's your son, right? You have to be able to turn off the coach.
Yeah.
So that would be my piece of advice to you, having done this, and we'll continue to do it for my two younger boys. I'm done with NBC now, but with my two younger boys going forward, like, have the dialogue, explain to him how it's going to be, explain to him the standard he's got to play. He's got to pay attention to, really more than anything else, not play to, because you can't help that. But then as soon as you get in that car on the way home, Dustin, at that point, you're dad. That's the critical thing, I think.
I'm going back to my own experiences because I don't have kids, and I have never coached a youth sports team either. Obviously not with my kids on it because I don't have any. But I'm thinking back to when I was on youth sports teams, and there were a lot of dad coaches around. And I think the biggest thing was that I don't really have a bad memory of any of the dad coaches on my teams, like doing something with their son or yelling, like going over the top that like stood out to us as like, oh, that seemed a little bit harsh. So I would say that's the goal, is just don't let any of the other kids like get this lasting memory of crazy dad coach. Just have fun with it and do it. And don't be like the guys that Bo details at some of these lacrosse tournaments he's headed to.
Crazy.
Just my unqualified opinion, every time your son makes a mistake and every time somebody else makes a mistake, take it out on your son.
Just bury him.
Yep.
Just that's okay.
You're gonna love it, man. It's so rewarding. It's so great. The car rides are it's awesome. I couldn't recommend it enough if you're able.
Next one from Troy. Hey guys, with the new NCAA video game trailer dropping and the game coming out in July, what team are you starting a dynasty with and rebuilding first? He says he's going with Akron. It's time for the program to come back alive.
Well, we know Reese's answer. I mean, how quickly you get the Fighting Bobcats.
Akron can't live as long as Ohio is getting the Mid-American Conference's college football playoff bid.
How quickly do you get that Ohio program up into the Big Ten? I mean, I assume there's going to be realignment.
Depends. If my Crystal Collective can put together the funds to steal a 5-star from Ohio State, we'll see.
I would play with Ohio State first, because, of course. But, I mean, you guys listen regularly know me running a cricket SMU program. Come on, baby. Now I get to play in the ACC.
Can we cheat in this game, please?
Come on.
Can they just make it?
Yeah.
It's not cheating, it's legal.
My SMU collective? Are you kidding me? We're going to be playing at Jerry World in 3 years.
I remember my brother made a team once and like put them in the SEC. It was like Alabama State or something, and I always really liked that. He got to like design the uniforms, and I'm sure that in a video game like this, if that is still like a capability of the game, that the intricacies you can go through to design the uniforms and the logos and stuff would be a lot of fun. So I did like that, but it also, the question reminded me of the last time I did start to do a dynasty with a team. I made a player, but it wasn't my player. I was controlling the whole team. I was calling the plays. I played offense and defense with every player, but I made this quarterback, and I think I named him Spider with a Y. I don't know. I was young. I thought
Good
that was
name, yeah.
I thought it was cool. Thought it was cool. And he was leading. He was going to win the Heisman. And then against Ohio State, he broke his jaw on a run, and it says out for season. And I was like, well, how's that fair? And I don't think I ever.
What team was it? Who did he play for? Was it Iowa?
Yeah, who knows what team I picked. He was a Hawkeye, but he was a running quarterback, so I don't know how Kirk Ferentz would have liked that.
Remember, Threes always would play with Minnesota State.
Yeah,
that was his thing. He would play with Minnesota State.
I guess I could play with Northern. I'm not playing with the Cyclones. I could play with Northern Iowa. I think they still have CS.
I don't know. That's a good question. I had the Bootsy came up to me last night. And he's like kind of out of the blue. He's like, Dad, are you aware that there is a college football game that is coming? And I said, yeah, I'm aware of it. And he goes, I have never been able to play a college football game except for that 2014 on the crappy Xbox 360 you had upstairs. And I said, I know. It's going to be amazing. Can we get it? Yes, we can get it. Awesome. Did you know that Madden comes with it? Yes, I did. I knew that. And we can probably do that all at the same time. Amazing. They're ready. They're locked in.
Reese, what are you doing with the Bobcats?
$150 for the deluxe package?
Oh, yeah, come on.
Oh, the Bobcats are rating everybody. Like, I'm not recruiting at all in the high school level. I'm pulling a successful Coach Prime and dominating the Mid-American Conference, like unbeaten 5 years in a row in conference play.
Do you think they have
conference
NIL? Do they have conference realignment? Do they have collectives that are match up with universities? Like, how will they put that in the game? Like, well, if you're at a certain place, you're like, well, this is a wealthy school. Like, these guys could throw a lot of money at this if they wanted to.
So the collectives are all about raising money. It would actually be really smart for them to say, you don't have to pay us anything, but we will license our name to be in there. Put our official name as the collective in the video game.
They would be smart. It would also be smart for EA if they want to make a bunch of money to say, if you put money like into VC, like they do with Fortnite, then that can go to your collective to get better players.
Yep.
That's what they'll do, because that's part of it for sure. The reality of it. All right, got to pick a winner. Was it just some dude?
Yes, he had the
football men's basketball one. Yeah, because that got us to say, yeah, we've been saying this for a long time. So I like any time we can praise us for what we get right. You get the $50 gift card, the free distillery tour, and tasting for up to 10 people at our great friends at High Bank Distillery, the Whiskey War line. Go check them out. Stop by High Bank's 2 locations, Grandview, Gahanna. Enjoy the award-winning spirits for your next happy hour. Make your reservation at highbankco.com. Penn State's throwing a little bit of cash at their football program. We'll get the details of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Safe Auto Insurance is now Direct Auto Insurance. What's the difference? Basically, the name. Direct Auto offers savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, just like you're used to, which means you never have to make trade-offs when it comes to paying for car insurance. So don't even think about carpooling to work with Talkative Ted. It's time to stop compromising and keep driving with Direct Auto. Get a free quote at directauto.com or call 1-877-GO-DIRECT. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
When you have to stop but don't really want to, stop at BP. Because BP has everything you need to keep it going. Fuel to keep the adventures going. The BP Me app to keep the savings and the commutes going. Snacks and drinks to keep the crew going. And the BP Me Rewards Visa to keep the rewards going and going and going. A stop at BP isn't a stop at all. Keep it going.
Great coaching can make all the difference, especially when it comes to your money. At Right Pac Credit Union, our financial coaches are on your team. We'll help you create a winning game plan that's customized for your unique needs, so you can make the most of your hard-earned money and live the life you want to live. Best of all, Right Pac Credit Union serves all of Central Ohio, so getting in the game is easy. Let's win together. Stop by one of our Central Ohio member centers to get started today. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
The standing room only, with all eyes on the 18th green.
There was some speed to this.
The sudden roars.
Gauged it just right.
That Sunday celebration.
From Oslo to Ohio, Victor Hovland is the champion.
It's better live. Join us at the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday, June 3rd through 9th. Visit memorialtickets.com today.
Right now during Jeep 4x4 season, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 for $379 a month for 42 months with $3,837 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial Services. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 6/3/2024. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Glo Fiber Business is now in Ohio, and your business is our priority. Glo Fiber delivers reliably fast, custom, and prepackaged internet plans to meet the growing needs of your business. And our dependable 24/7 personal support means your business stays connected. Glo Fiber is here, and we mean business. Find out more at 833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiberbusiness.com today. Glo Fiber Business is not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Proper tree care is an investment that can lead to substantial returns and increased personal enjoyment. Hiring a certified arborist can help care for your trees and add considerable value to your property. Inspections by Ohio ISA certified arborists can often find and mitigate tree defects before they fail. Only professionals with specialized knowledge and training are properly equipped to provide appropriate care. To find an arborist, visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org. Not wearing your seatbelt could cost you a ticket or your life. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Expect a few pop-up showers and storms with highs right around 84. Tonight, expect thunderstorms with a low around 65. Tomorrow, look for isolated showers and storms with highs around 80. I'm Doppler 10 meteorologist Dylan Robichaud on 97.1 The Fan.
Tipico Sportsbook is the exclusive online sportsbook partner of Bishop & Friends. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Let's talk about something sizzling. How about making a bacon 180 with Awaken 180? Imagine dropping pounds while still enjoying that crispy, savory goodness. One of the 50 reasons I chose Awaken 180. 80 plus pounds in only 4 months. Plus, I lost some extra in the year since, and I did it while still enjoying a ton of my favorite foods. The difference? I had my coach showing me how to enjoy them the right way, and I still talk to her monthly to make sure that I stay on track. A full bacon 180, but hey, I get it. Maybe you're not a bacon fan. No bacon, no problem. Awaken 180 caters to any diet or taste profile. Vegetarian, vegan, omnivore, even flexitarian, which we learned this week is a thing. It's covered too. The point, if you want to lose weight, lose it fast, and then keep it off, then make your own Bacon 180 with Awaken 180 online at awaken180weightloss.com. Bishop and Friends, we're sponsored by Awaken 180. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss.
So, well, I'm going to get to Penn State thing in a second, but we were talking in the break. There was a Ben Baby we've had Ben on before on the Bengals side of things, and it's in reference to an NCAA or a USA Today story about the NCAA and the finances of all of it, right? And so he subtweets that, or quote tweets this and says, one thing to remember about college athletics is that nearly everyone needs subsidization to support their expenses. Of the 232 athletic departments in the USA Today database, nearly 95% require some sort of financial allocation from the university. That's all true, but it is also true that they are that quite honestly, the simplest way to put this is it's because they're not running a very good business. They're paying for things they don't need to pay for. They have sports that they don't need to have. They're spending money that, because they're nonprofits, they're spending money that they have to spend. That's how you arbitrarily get certain sports where a coach will make $1 million a year in a non-revenue sport. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you pay somebody that salary in a sport that does not make the money? Well, the reason they do is because they have to. They have to spend it. So, yes, it's true, but if you actually had to run these things like a business, I don't believe this would be the case at all in 95% of the cases.
I think the real thing to look at is the Rutgers situation and the UCLA and Cal situation. Which athletic departments are really underwater because they're trying to get to zero because of the nonprofit status that they have. That's the goal. So if you're just a little bit below it in the red, that's probably just an accounting thing that gets fixed over in a number of years. But if you're millions of dollars in the red, those are the schools that are really, really going to have trouble with it. And that's another reason why when we talk about like the separation of major college football, it's these plans that they're coming up with are not going to work for everybody. I mean, the Big East commissioner put out a letter that said this settlement doesn't work for us. And the big school said, we don't care. We're moving forward with this one. And that's why they kind of have to be separate entities at this point for it to actually work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where you're headed on that thing. You mentioned that the ACC, and we'll have Amanda Christovich on here in just about 10 minutes to kind of take us through this in the best layman terms we can in terms of what's going to happen this week. The ACC and the Big 12 have joined in terms of being ready to go ahead with the House versus NCAA vote. They are going to vote for it. This is going to happen relatively quickly, and then where it goes from here, the settlement is widely expected to pass. It's going to chart a new sport for college sports and the framework for sharing the millions of dollars with athletes. I have a billion questions on this for Amanda, but this is happening. It could happen by the time this week is done in terms of how it goes. And you're right, Val Ackerman, who was the commissioner of the Big East, was like, wait a second, why are we paying so much of this? And at one point on Monday, there was talk that the power conferences, the true power conferences, said, hey, maybe rethink this. Maybe we should pick up 60% of this bill since we're the ones who are actually named. And then they said, actually, no, we're going to keep it as it is. The 60% is going to be picked up by you guys, and we're going to pick up 40% of it. And that's the way that it's going to go going forward. So that's how it's going to go. What it means, Amanda will have a better handle on that than certainly we do, and certainly the timing of it. I did see this as well. Speaking of money, always proving that there's more of it in sports. Penn State's Board of Trustees announced and voted Tuesday and approved a multi-year, multi-phase renovation of Beaver Stadium. 26-2 vote. 3 trustees abstained from voting. The stadium renovation slated to not exceed $700 million. The most notable changes to the venue focus on the stadium's west side. So that's the side where most of that's the easiest entrance where most of the parking is. Every time I've been there, that's the side that you would enter on. It's the side where the press box is. They have the most arcade. No one wants to hear media complain. They have the worst press box probably in major college football by 100 miles. I mean, it's a joke how bad their press box is. They make up for it by the fact that they have like Pennsylvania farmers food in there, which is usually really good. Like you get it's like a Cracker Barrel meal. Is what you get
on a nice Amish built cabinet, probably.
Yeah, they take care of that side of it, but the press box is absolutely brutal. The renovation will begin at the end of the 2024 season. $700 million for this thing is pretty amazing. The full design for the renovated Beaver Stadium not ready yet to be shared with the public. It's the first major renovation of the football stadium since 2001, when luxury suites to the south end zone deck were both added. So this is $700 million in the coffers for Penn State to make that thing up to date. And you guys have been over there, right?
I've never been to Beaver Stadium. No.
Have you, Reese?
No.
It's crazy because honestly it looks like an erector set.
Yeah.
It's all steel beams and concrete from the outside. Inside, it's the best environment in the Big Ten. Period. Just is. The way it's built, it's straight up and down. It's just stunning when it's there. All of the hype is justified. I acknowledge that the only time I've been there is for Ohio State games, and they're particularly jumped for that, and also at night, and also whiteout, all of those circumstances. But for a big game, it's as good as anywhere in the country. But what this will do is modernize everything else around it. And it just speaks to how big all of this is. And you think about $700 million at Penn State. What would Ohio State be capable of when they try to do a modernization of the shoe?
Well, and it's funny because they kept wanting to reiterate that, like, it's a sliding scale. It's up to $700 million. But if I know anything from doing any sort of just household project, you're always going to reach the top of your budget. And I think that, eventually they're probably going to have to go back to the board and say, hey, can we have $100 million? If they think they might get to $700 million, my hunch is that they will get to that $700 million. And the only rendering they showed was the press box, which really kind of what they're trying to do, gets rid of that erector set facade and makes it look like that. And it had like a little walkway leading up to it and big arches leading into the stadium. Yeah.
If they do as that commencement speaker suggested, just invest it in Bitcoin, a couple years later, cash out, there's your renovation.
And you pay for it.
To the moon.
Oh, man. But it's great. It's absolutely awesome. We will get some perspective on everything going on in the business side of college athletics from Amanda Christovich. She's all over it. Front Office Sports. She joins us coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hollywood Lights. Set sail with excitement at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Saturday, May 25th, you could be the lucky winner of a 7-day, all-expenses-paid Caribbean cruise for two. Not a sailor? No problem. Opt for $15,000 in cold hard cash instead. Play your favorite slots and table games throughout May to earn entries. More details at HollywoodColumbus.com. Remember, your adventure awaits at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Ready to be the change and have a positive impact on your community? Consider joining the Columbus Division of Police. Starting pay is $70,000 plus, growing to 6 figures after 4 years of service. We offer paid vacations, paid holidays, and health insurance. Do you aspire to complete your degree? We offer 100% tuition reimbursement after you complete your first year of service. Contact the CPD recruiting unit at jobs@columbuspolice.org or apply online at columbus.gov/government/jobs. The City of Columbus is an equal opportunity employer.
Summer is almost here, and NBC4 Today is giving you a chance to swim in cash. Get ready for summer. Check out NBC4 Today every morning, and you could win $400. Watch to win all this week on NBC4 Today at 6 a.m.
Tonight on Chicago Wednesday, it all comes down to an explosive 3-hour season finale event. First on Chicago Med, Archer and Goodwin must each make devastating decisions. Then on Fire, we say goodbye to a special hero who's been there since day one. And on PD, Voight's life is on the line and the unit races to try to save him. The Chicago Wednesday season finale event tonight on NBC.
Tonight beginning at 8 on NBC4. Local for you. Summer is almost here, and NBC4 Today is giving you a chance to swim in cash. Get ready for summer. Check out NBC4 Today every morning, and you could win $400. Watch to win all this week on NBC4 Today at 6 a.m.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
My guys at Germain Lexus are getting ready for the Memorial. What they do every single year is let the golfers drive around in beautiful Lexuses for the week. Then they take those cars and sell them to you. You could be driving Rory's car. The Germain all-month-long celebration's going on right now. You can get great deals like this one. 2024 RX 350, 36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, $49.99 down, $519 a month. I just picked up my brand new RX 350 a few weeks ago. It is plush. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
What's up, sandwich heads? Today on Steve-O's Sandwich Reviews, we've got the tips and tricks to the best sandwich order. And it all starts with this little guy right here. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Partial to pastrami, craving a Cubano. Yeah, sounds delicious, but boom! Add the crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi Zero Sugar and cue the fireworks. Lunch, dinner, or late night, it'll be a sandwich worth celebrating. Trust me, your boy's eaten a lot of sandwiches in his day, and the one thing I can say with absolute fact, every bite is better with Pepsi.
Ah, the sweet sounds of spring. The crack of a bat, chorus of birds, and the glorious hum of a freshly tuned AC system. Don't sweat it. Let the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team keep you in tune with a spring AC checkup.
You're all set.
Schedule a visit today and stay cool all summer long. Call the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team, 614-333-9720, or schedule service on our website. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better AC.
Big things are happening on the east side.
We're ready to deal. Come negotiate during May's Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda. Lower payments, better financing, more value for any trade. Shop lindsayhonda.com and see new Hondas with thousands in savings plus many other deals. We'll work hard to get you a payment you can afford. Now during May Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for program details.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's get smarter. Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, sports business reporter, college sports, front office sports. Amanda Christovich joined us. Great friend of the program. Amanda, thank you so much for your time. It appears that we are headed towards settlement very clearly in the House versus NCAA case. The $2.7 billion is the number that's out there. It looks like they got the framework done on what this is going to look like. What does this mean first for college athletics going forward?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Second of all, I'd like to start actually with what it doesn't mean. What it doesn't mean is that the biggest question about college sports is answered, about whether or not athletes are employees. Mm-hmm. This case is going to facilitate revenue sharing. And what that means, I mean, look, it's long overdue for the players to get a cut of the broadcast revenue that they've gotten. What it means is that athletic departments, many of them, they've got the money. Some of them, they have the money, but they're pretending they don't, right? Which is why private equity is swooping in, the story that popped up this morning. But ultimately, I don't think a lot is going to change outside of the fact that players are just going to get some more money. This does not answer the transfer portal question, does not answer a lot of the NIL collective issues, and it certainly, as I said, does not answer the employment question.
No. So then the piggyback off of that of what it doesn't do leads to my kind of the next thing that I was curious about, and that is what they're obviously hoping for is that this prevents further litigation. But no, this will not. There's how many cases are going on that address these things? They're going to be in court. And Ross Bjork, our new athletic director here, he talked about it. We got to stop being in court, and it feels like there's no end to that.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's their play, right? Because what people need to understand is that everyone in college sports in the sort of power conferences is talking about how, it's like the altruism of we're going to settle and we're going to finally pay the players. And the rest of Division I is very upset about this settlement agreement because, the NCAA part of the bill, right, is going to be funded by reduced revenue distribution to the rest of the Division I, even though the rest of Division I isn't involved in this lawsuit. Mm-hmm. But there's a major benefit, and the play is they're going to take the settlement to Congress, and they're going to ask Congress to write a law based on this settlement that says, okay, some of the schools have to pay the players, but we're going to give the NCAA carte blanche to, make their own rules without fear of litigation over athlete compensation. They could roll back NIL if they wanted to, for example. Can't get rid of it, but they could roll it back. They could settle the employment question. They could have Congress write a law saying athletes are not employees. And that's what would take care of all the other litigation. There are 3 cases about athletes being employees. None of them are going to be affected by this. There's a case that could be consolidated into this settlement. There's a hearing for that tomorrow, where the lawyers have made an uproar about, we might try to stop the settlement if we're consolidated into it. So there's plenty more litigation to be had, but the NCAA is trying to use this as a sort of almost like an olive branch. Go to Congress and say, hey, look at all the changes we've made. Look at all the concessions we've made. Now give us something so we don't have to make any more concessions.
So the other thing that's fascinating to me is this 20 million number that I see at the power conference that is part of this $20 million distribution. So who gets that? Is it just the sports that are part of making the money? How do they, if so, how do they get around Title IX? Who decides that 20 million is the number? Who is representing the athletes in this?
Nobody's representing the athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, technically the plaintiff lawyers are representing the athletes, but, I spoke with Jim Cavale, who heads athletes.org, which is they're trying to organize athletes. They don't really have a list of demands yet. They're trying to sort of organize the athletes, to sort of collectively bargain, whether formally or informally. And he said to me on the record, he said, no, I don't think that this is an adequate representation of athletes. The $20 million is going to go somehow to to all the athletes. I mean, look, it's up to the discretion of the schools, and it's up to, interpretations of Title IX. We don't know what those interpretations are going to be yet. However, they are certainly going to be a factor, given that this is a benefit and a resource given to athletes at educational institutions. But no, there's no clear athlete representation. I mean, the closest you could get to that is the athletes. There's going to be like an opt-out period in the settlement. So like after, the votes this week and they hammer out the details with the plaintiff's lawyers, then it goes to the judge. If she rubber stamps it, then all the athletes have an opportunity to object to it. That's the closest we're going to get. But there's no collective athlete representation, right? Like there is in the pro.
No, and God Almighty, what a mess! And you got how many different sports represented? 2.7 billion over the last 10 years. We got a lot of former Buckeyes in a bunch of different sports who live around here who have played in the last 10 years, saying, "What's my cut of that?" When you think about 2.7 million being dispersed, is it among all college athletes over the last decade? What I mean, because there's guys.
No.
This is just the money sports.
Yeah, well, not exactly. I mean, so there are different damage classes. So I would, and I don't have it up in front of me right now because my brain is sort of working at this point.
It's working better than mine. You're winning in that regard.
So you got to look at the damage classes. There are very specific parameters of which athletes are eligible for this, right? Generally, it's like the power athletes, Division I, right? But it's multiple sports. It's not just football, for example. So look at the damage class. And then, right, if you're an athlete listening to this, and if you fall within one of those categories, essentially you just have to wait. Because part of the sort of nuts and bolts of this very complex settlement is going to be hammering out within the damage classes who gets what.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. All right. Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports, joining us. You mentioned the private equity play here, and it's a weird how all of these things connect. I covered Drew Weatherford at Florida State, and he was a quarterback there at the time, and now he's in this private equity deal with Redbird Capital and all of this. Their play is different from what I understand, reading the Wall Street Journal story this morning, from the standpoint of they don't want a piece of your revenue that you're going to get. What they want in return is new revenue that they're going to create. What sense can you make for us on that play? And obviously the connection with Weatherford being a Florida State guy, you think about Florida State's situation in the ACC. That's the first thing I thought of. What is happening here?
Yeah, well, to the Florida State point, what's funny is as I read in one article that he said he's not participating in FSU's private equity play, but we can at least, comfortably assume where FSU got the idea, right? Anyway, so that's that on that. But I think I was shocked, frankly, when I read about what exactly this deal is offering, because the assumption or the risk that they're taking, they're not offering like a debt service. They're not offering, we're gonna own a cut of your athletic department, and you're gonna have to pay us back with interest, no matter how much money you make or lose. It's only they're only paying, based on incremental revenue and profit increases. So if the athletic departments, as they often do, gobble up this money and don't make a profit, it's like these private equity firms, they're not going to benefit. But look, I mean, clearly they think they're going to benefit. This is not a surprise. And if anything, this is the perfect time for the private equity firms, right? Because there's such a clear need for, the lower half of the power schools to come up with this money, right? If you're one of the top 20, 30 athletic departments from like a gross revenue standpoint, you're not worried. But if you're in that lower half, you're crying poverty, even though you've got the $20 million and you can get it maybe from the boosters. I don't know. But they're going to be looking into this. And I think it's just one other example of how college sports is not amateur. College sports is not, nonprofit education. it's big business. And, higher education as a whole is big business. And so, there's nothing wrong with admitting that. Like, we just have to, that's how it works. Like, we just have to be honest with ourselves.
Is there, we continue to, I'll get you out of here on this one. We do the show in Columbus, Ohio. Ohio State's going to be more than just fine. There's money for days is the way that's going to operate. What will, with where we are, this current tenor around the sport, where will the line be drawn of where this starts to negatively impact? Because it feels impossible for me that you're going to have, that everyone's going to come out of this unscathed when you think about everyone who's under the NCAA purview.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, usually the folks who get shafted are the players. Look, if I were an athletic department employee, I would probably be, at the very least, I would have a lot of questions about the private equity play, because there are a lot of concerns about just what that industry does to other industries as a whole, and there's a lot of really concerning precedent. So that's one thing. If you're a player, you still don't have representation. The deal you might be getting today is good, or you think it's good. But A, maybe it could be better if you had representation. And B, if you're an athlete, you need to understand that they're taking the settlement to Congress, and the NCAA is trying to take all of its power back and trying to get a law written so that the NCAA can have full control over athlete compensation rules, so nobody can challenge it in court, and they can roll back, NIL collectives if they want. They can make athletes amateurs, never be employees. If they don't want to collectively bargain, they don't have to collectively bargain. I mean, you just need to understand that that's what they're trying to do here. They're dangling the shiny thing of the $20 million, right? But do we really want to give the NCAA the power to potentially take some of these rights away? Do we really believe they're not going to? That's the risk here. And the athletes are the ones who are not, who are going to lose if that risk is realized.
Amanda, thanks for making us smarter. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Amanda Christovich, one of our favorites. It's a complicated issue, but it's going to change the landscape, and it's going to come quickly. She's at Front Office Sports. She joined on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. You're officially endorsed in 3 things up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only radio station still operating with an active booze cart. I'm drunk right now. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and the playoff action is here, and there isn't a more rewarding sportsbook in the game than Tipico. Get ready to bet on the biggest games of the year, the playoff basketball, the hockey, the actions every night. You want to make the most of every game? You've got to bet with Tipico. You'll get up to 5% cash back on your bets. Claim your new sign-up bonus now and get $150 in protected bets when you deposit $100. Sign up now. Enter the promo code TheFan150 to get your bonus. Download the Tipico Sportsbook app today. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove, not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. Oh no, I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my 2 best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you subscribe to the Fans YouTube channel? Well, why not? Catch our best interview, Stupid Man and Bone videos, and live video of our shows as they happen.
You can participate in your neighborhood watch.
Search 971 The Fan and subscribe today.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Hey, it's Bobby. When you have a large investment like a new roof, you want to work with a company you can trust. One with 30 years of experience and hundreds of 5-star Google reviews, 0 complaints with the BBB. That's Newman Roofing. So go check them out at newmanroofing.com or give them a call at 614-NEW-ROOF.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Now at UDF, buy 3 everyday favorites with UDrive Plus to quickly stack an extra 20 cents in gas savings. That includes snacks like Fritos and Doritos, candy like M&M's and Reese's, and ice cream like ours. UDF, made for you. Specially marked products with an opted-in UDrive account.
Hey, Mountain Dew drinkers, it's the Mountain Dew Baja Blast 20th Baja-versary. 20 years of Baja Blast being a Taco Bell fan favorite. To celebrate this year, the tropical lime flavor of Baja Blast is in stores everywhere all year long. 366 days, that's right, it's a leap year. And for a limited time, you can collect coins for a chance to get Baja gear or a Taco Bell deal. The Mountain Dew Baja Blast 20th Baja-versary.
No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of US 18+, subject to official rules at BajaBlast.com and 6/15/24. Void where prohibited.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll?
Daily Fan Poll asks, will you be purchasing the new EA Sports college football game? Hey, did you know there's going to be a new EA Sports college football game? 58% say yes.
Yeah. NBC would have known if you listened to our show. What's he doing between 9 and noon?
He's at school.
Oh. Well, they're not doing anything at school.
They're not doing anything right now. Although he got like a surprise test today, like a 50-question science test today. And I'm like, well, does it even matter to your grade? And he's like, I don't think so. Okay.
I mean, I guess they'll have Chromebooks so they could pull us up on YouTube.
Yeah, he could do that. He did get a check mark yesterday because he was listening to. He claimed he was listening to something on geography with his
geography podcast.
Yeah, and the teacher felt otherwise. So there you go. All right, it is a First Friday. Hit it.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday, officially endorsed because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
Sponsored by Sugar Shannara Accident Attorneys. We go to war for you at warforyou.com. That's warforyou.com.
You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
Yeah, and this is Memorial Day weekend, and so this is my official cocktail of Memorial Day weekend. We call it the Uncle Stan for my wife's father. I devised this for him like about a decade ago, and it remains pretty much undefeated on especially if the weather is going to be warm. It's a winner. You take you could use a Yeti if you want to be outside, but a highball glass. You go a couple of ounces of Blanco tequila in that. The one that I like Grand Centenario. That's a great one. There's a lot of great tequilas out there right now. You pour a couple of 3 ounces of that in there, and then you top it with a lemonade vitamin water on top. You can salt it if you want. It doesn't really need it though, but it's really good on a hot summer day and kind of the perfect way to kick off your Memorial Day festivities this weekend. The Uncle Stan, you're officially endorsed. Time for 3 things. Hit it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
Number one for me, I see the NFL draft is moving to Pittsburgh in 2026. Good. I like that the NFL has done this. I think it's really cool that they moved the draft around. It's kind of like their version of the NBA All-Star Game. It's a good job out of them. I'm for it.
Will they ever bring it to a non-NFL city is what I was wondering when I saw that. Because NFL fans everywhere.
Yeah, you do it here.
First thing for me, New Chops TV. This was one of those hodgepodge episodes. We were off a little bit last week, so we watched some random things. Unfrosted, the Jerry Seinfeld Pop-Tart movie. Madam Web is as bad as you think it is. My Best Friend's Exorcism was done by a director that I like, and I actually had read the book recently. And then Ricky Stenicki, starring Zac Efron and John Cena. So come here, our thoughts on those. Varying degrees of enjoyment for all those movies.
Yeah, first thing for me. So we did talk about, you just mentioned it, Pittsburgh's going to host the 2026 NFL Draft. I had an error to correct in the 11 o'clock update. Green Bay is going to be hosting the 2025 NFL Draft.
Cool.
So Adam Schefter was the one that brought that to my attention. I think he's on with Rothman and Ice today at 12:30.
Yeah, and I'm guessing one of the things they'll discuss is what he said on one of his podcasts, that the NFL is planning for an NFL team to play an overseas game every year. One team have an overseas game every single year. Number two for me, so you guys grew up with the ice cream truck? I did not. I mean, I was in the Ponderosa. There was no ice cream truck, but my kids have grown up with the ice cream truck. So the guy plays the song and they run out, and there's a whole bit on that, like just a guy driving around in a van, kids running for ice cream, like the whole thing is a lot going on. But the ice cream truck economics was my point of contention. So I'm looking at the price of a popsicle or like one of the cones. It's like $5. And so I spent like $16 getting 3 pieces of ice cream. And I was trying to explain to the boys, you could go to your grocery store right now and get a whole pack of these for less. Like, this dude's killing it on the markup with this stuff. $5 for a popsicle? This is where we're at.
But how much would you pour for, a 2-finger, or how much would you pay for a 2-finger pour if that came around in a truck right to your doorstep?
There's an idea.
But I already have it. I don't need to walk out to the door.
This actually brings me to my second thing, and this isn't a complaint about rising prices. We've all talked about that and we've all experienced it. This is just that I don't understand what sales are in the grocery store anymore. So soda's a big one right now. They're really trying to push it. So I've seen many 12-pack of soda deals where it's cheaper to get the third one than to buy 2. It will be like, that's how the deal works. It'll be they're each $7.99, but you get 3 for $12. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Yesterday, I saw half a cake for $5.99. The full version of the exact same cake was $19.99. Much more than double $5.99. Cereal often has the larger size box for cheaper than the smaller one. So I don't get sales. I don't know what to buy anymore. And now I end up with 3 things of soda every time because I'm like, well, I have to. It saves money to get a third one.
So Palmer Luckey, I think I'm saying his name right, as the creator of the Oculus headset they sold to Facebook. He's a world-renowned AI guru and the current head of Anduril, which has billions of dollars in contracts with the United States Department of Defense. He recently told Bloomberg News, quote, "There will be people who are killed by AI who should not have been killed. That is certainly if artificial intelligence becomes a core part of the way we fight wars," end quote. Maybe we should slow down with all this.
Too late, brother. Like, this is why you need a First Friday.
This is Terminator.
Of course, it's all coming to an end. No time for 3 today. Enjoy your cocktails. You're going to need it after that story from Reith. Ross and I coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
This Action Update is brought to you by Tipico. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Just over 2 weeks now until the Memorial Tournament, and following up on a dramatic finish at the PGA Championship. This week, the PGA Tour is at Colonial. Scotty Scheffler is your huge favorite at plus 245. Colin Morikawa is 11-1. Max Homa 17-1. And Jordan Spieth 20-1. For your Tipico Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas. At Bet
Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every goal, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a game-winning goal in the final seconds of OT or a shot on goal in the first period.
Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
The delicious ice-cold taste of Dr. Pepper has a lasting effect on people. Lindsay from Sacramento said,
Pro tip, 40 degrees is the perfect temperature for an ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Why is 40 degrees the perfect temperature for Dr. Pepper? We brought in Sue from Duluth, Minnesota to tell us.
Oh, yeah, I know a thing or two about cold. Oh, that right there is the perfect kind of ice cold for Dr. Pepper. I'd share that with my friend Nancy. She likes Dr. Pepper, too, you know. My coldest...
All right, that'll be all, Sue. Having a perfect temperature for your Dr. Pepper? It's a Pepper thing. Inspired by real fan posts.
My guys at Germain Lexus are getting ready for the Memorial. What they do every single year is let the golfers drive around in beautiful Lexuses for the week. Then they take those cars and sell them to you. You could be driving Rory's car. The Germain all-month-long celebration's going on right now. You can get great deals like this one. 2024 RX 350, 36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year, $49.99 down, $519 a month. I just picked up my brand new RX 350 a few weeks ago. It is plush. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
We're David and Greg Figueroa, founders of Melinda's Hot Sauce. If we were a big corporate brand, we might hire
a voice actor.
But we're not, so we'll just tell you about our 41
unique flavors of Kraft Hot Sauce.
Dude, we can talk about the way we balance heat with
the fresh flavor of real ingredients.
Wow, nice.
Set your mouth on flavor with Melinda's Hot Sauces. Find them at your local retailer or online at melindas.com. That's MELIN.